I am here. 10 minutes late. Wow. It's normal. Don't worry about it. Don't ask questions. It's fine. How goes things? And stuff. Today, I am tired. So I look forward to cleaning much. Saying how fine is a little suspicious. Well, you know. Hey, Potato, how you doing? Good job on the first. You're not new, but hello. Get Ray. Yeah. Yeah, Ray comes in a little bit later. I think they've finally realized they couldn't beat you in the first redemption. Going back to sleep? It's too early. Yeah. Yeah, that's alright. I stream at a strange time. Appreciate you stopping by briefly, regardless. I'm about to be asleep, yeah. 10 a.m. You should be awake. We went to sleep 3 hours ago. Dogs woke you up. Time for doctor's appointment. Oh, all good. Yeah. It might always be a good idea to stay awake if you want to keep a regular schedule, but if you're tired, then go back to sleep. If you got a day off, take a day off. Anyway. I begin game, then. Freaking DLCs over here. Get out of here. Playing the the campaign over here. Month. Ooh, 30 stream streak. Nice. Well done. Very impressive. Yeah, no Twitch streak issues. Yeah, good. There's no issues for sure. Oh my goodness! Look how clean it is. Look how incredibly out of place it is in this scene. Okay, so the last time I cleaned, I was working on the starfish. Oh, on the side of the rock, yeah. I think I cleaned the entire exterior. I'm gonna do a little scooch around look. Oh wow, a volcano. Yeah, it looks like I got everything. Imminent slurk. Lurk while getting ready for bed. Go for it. In fact, you can even go to sleep if you wish. Okay, yeah, it's very clean on the outer edge. Time to clean the interior. Grim allows it, it's true. So should I clean from the top down? I mean, that makes the most sense. How's the audio levels? I'm never good at like figuring them out. Oh wait, they're not on, are they? Oh no, wait. No, they are. What the hell? Why are they on? Seems fine. Why is my music playing? I'm not even on that tab. It shouldn't, the music shouldn't be coming through. I shouldn't have been, because it's supposed to be coming through on a specific web page that I didn't have open. Well, whatever. Yeah, it's fine, probably. Just have to be aware of that being an issue in the future, potentially. I won't be watching any, like, documentaries or anything in the background in future streams. I don't do that anyway. I think this would be a good spot for a sunlight, although I guess you wouldn't really have the technology. Documentary specific. Well, I was gonna say, like, I'm not gonna listen to music, but I am listening to music, and I would have to specify it would be copywritten music, but I figured that was kind of an excessive amount of clarification for a joke, and so I said documentaries because those are probably copywritten, and also kind of a strange thing to listen to when you're playing a game. I don't know. I thought a lot about it before I said it, but it didn't necessarily make any sense to somebody who wasn't in my brain. It was a split second of intense thought before I said that, so didn't really, you know, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And I don't even like documentaries that much, so I don't know why I chose that exactly. Just had no, I just didn't want to. It just seemed like the most pressing, obvious thing to listen to and doing something tedious, I guess. I don't know. You like good documentaries, but very fussy. I don't think I've ever seen a documentary that I've actually enjoyed. I've only seen a few. I'm not saying like I've seen like a 50 documentaries and they all are bad, but like I mean like I've seen like maybe 3 or 4 and I didn't like any of them, so I just kind of stopped caring to watch them. Movies generally as a media, I have a hard time like sitting through. Not from like a lack of patience, but more of a, I feel like I could be doing something sort of situation. Like, oh, I could be working right now sort of idea. So sitting in one place for too long, not working, gives me like the itch. I think I've got about like an hour on average for like relaxation time, maybe 2, before I start to get a little bit antsy. But I do like movies, they're just not something I participate in regularly. Watching television's the same, or TV, I say TV, I don't know, watching shows, I guess, streaming services, whatever. Similar vibe, like I like watching them, but they're hard to watch for like super long periods of time without like getting... Uncomfortable isn't the word, just like... I don't know, self-conscious about lack of working? I don't know how to explain it. Oh, here's this song. I recognize this song. Antsy. Yeah, I think that's the word I want, but I used it earlier, so I didn't want to use it again. Excuse me. I think you'll find, if you pay close attention, I will stumble over words occasionally. That's usually because I wanted to use a word I previously used in the same sentence or like in a very recent sentence, and I don't want to repeat it. So if I ever like say something and then stumble a bit and then say something similar but different, that's what's happening. Because I want to say a certain word, but I already said it, so I'm trying to like make it a different word so I'm not repeating myself. It's a conscious effort I make on a regular basis when I'm talking. It works out fine. People don't notice usually, but now you will. Documentaries are the sort of thing you have to have on while you're doing a thing, like knitting, where you can do a thing mostly not looking. Yeah, I really do want to try knitting, but I still haven't gotten into it. Like I said, I know how to crochet. I've talked about that in the past, but never really learned how to knit. Not super well, anyway. Like I know how, but like I couldn't make anything. Not without like a guide or direct help. You're allowed to use the word more than once. No, then people will question my vast vocabulary. Maybe I should go with the old, like, trident here. That'll clean this distance a lot easier than one I've been trying to use. You just have to go over it a bunch. That's okay. Can I make things out of crochet? I mean, like a hat. Like, it's like bare bones. Maybe some, like, gloves, but... Or make, like, pot holders, stuff like that. Or, you know, cozies. But not like a sweater or anything. Blanket, maybe. I crocheted a blanket once. Very small blanket. Like a lap blanket sort of thing. But that's sort of difficult to do when you don't have a whole lot of time and supplies for such things. If I'm cleaning directly above myself, that's probably close enough to use the yellow one. Oh, maybe. Like, these edges are a bit hard to reach because they're at, like, very specific angles. I didn't realize the 3D space around, like, this area until I started cleaning it. Now I realize... Realize that there's, is there, like, no way up there without climbing around the outside? I didn't realize that there was so much, like, space in there. I would love to have, like, a railing of some description covering the entire side. This temple really is just, like, one giant OSHA violation out here. I fall off this railing. You know who's getting in trouble? Big Temple. Big Temple's getting in trouble. Old ancient race of people. That's who. For their lax standards of safety. Disgraceful, really. I can tell how they're all extinct now. Fell off these railings. Working safety hazards. They'll get you. I don't like using this one very much, because it leaves so much, like, extra residue. I guess I can do this over and over again, but it's difficult to do with my mouse because of how little I have to move it. I talked about it previously, but my mouse is incredibly sensitive, so... this is hard to do. It's like I'm doing, like, it's like the size of, like, a nickel. The amount, like, the rotation I'm doing. Because if I move my hand from one side of the mouse pad to the other, it goes from, like this. I've got, like, 4.5 to 5 rotations on that, so I can't really move it that far. I don't know why I made it that big. I don't need it to be that sensitive. I could lower it, but when I lower it, I feel weird, and I get kind of annoyed. I'm like trying to, like, I'm so used to it being so sensitive. I think it's because when I had a laptop, I had like a little, I had one of those little dots in the middle of the keyboard that you like move around as a trackpad. I think that was like super sensitive, so I got kind of used to a fast mouse. That's the only reason I can think of why I might have done that, or why I might be used to it being so fast. The keyboard nipple, yeah, that's the thing. That's the one. You miss it? I don't know. It was interesting, but I think it kind of annoyed me. I remember those mice, I think they still exist, those office mice that have, like, the 2 buttons on the top and then, like, a roller ball on the thumb, where you can, like, flick it around to use the mouse. Those are cool. I like those. Like I said, I think they still exist, but I can't imagine using one for anything. I imagine once you get used to it, it's quite convenient and probably a lot... Oh man, there was so much dirt on that. Probably a lot more precision with that if you learn how to use them proper. Indulging impulse, fetching crochet supplies. Yeah. Good luck. Craft. Craft well. You like it better than the touch trackpad? Yeah, I guess. The touch trackpad's hard to use, but I enjoy, like, the multi-inputs and stuff. Being able to, like, zoom in, zoom out, you know, scroll up, scroll down, without having to, like, use the bar on the side. Because it was, like, without using, like, page up, page down, and stuff like that. I was like really excited to get my first laptop. Like, you know, it was like better than my desktop computer at the time. Got it for like $900, and I was like, man, this thing is like the future. And it played Phantasy Star Blue Burst at like 14 FPS, and I was like, dang, gaming can't get better than this. Gaming got better than that. In case you're curious. Still a good time though. I used to call the I fundamentally misunderstood what a laptop was, I guess, at some point. I don't know when this was, but I remember when like those, oh god, what the Game Boy Advanced SPs, I think they're called, the special edition ones with like that flip out and have like a backlight. When those came out, I was like, oh man, it's a little laptop. That's wild. Why'd they make it such a small laptop? And I'm like, oh man. I got one and I'm like, oh, well, it's not quite a laptop, but I'm gonna keep calling it a laptop. So I called it a laptop forever because I didn't realize it was called a Game Boy SP. And so I was like telling people about my laptop and like how I was playing like Pokemon on it, and I'm like, man, this laptop's great. It's got like its own screen and everything. It wasn't a laptop. But then I got a real laptop and was like, oh, okay, I see. There's definitely a difference, turns out. Yeah, Game Boy SP was cool. I used it until until the backlight burned out. Had it for like 5 years, something like that. It wasn't a crazy long time, especially how expensive it was, but it was cool. I think it's just like flecks of dirt around that I can't see because it looks pretty clean up there. There you go. Okay, we got it. Your first computer was your dad's old work laptop where it could draw charge from the battery? Where it couldn't draw charge from the battery, so it always had to be plugged in. The delight to have a computer all to yourself. Even though it could only play movies at like 2 FPS. Yeah. By movies you mean anime, right, of course. Yeah, I remember my first computer was given to me by well, not me, given to my family by my grandfather. And it was just in the dining room. And I remember watching in the middle of the night, watching because I was whatever, doesn't matter, I was working, whatever. Watching Higurashi no Naku Koroni, which I've never watched anything like that since because that's about the time I realized I didn't like that kind of stuff. It's a horror anime. If you haven't seen it, wouldn't recommend it. I don't know if it was good or not. I remember it like traumatized me, and I got so scared because the computer died that same night. Like, while I was in the middle of watching it, like that's why not the computer, the CRT that we used, died, and like went all like fuzzy, like, you know, like generic horror movie TV turn on and have like fuzzy background image, and like I heard like some like weird, like the audio like sort of bugging out too. So I can only assume that like the like monitor, we obviously had the speakers plugged into the monitor and it worked somehow. I don't know how, but I didn't care. Or maybe the speakers were the monitor, I don't remember. Anyway, point is, the monitor was dying, and it had like that horrible, like, staticky, fuzzy thing happen while I was in the middle of watching a horror anime. And I was like, so incredibly terrified all of a sudden. Because, like, I've never been, like, superstitious to any real extent. But, like, that was the one time I was like, oh my god, ghosts are real. And I just, like, was so freaked out. But yeah, it turns out just the monitor was dying. Yeah, that was it. Had to replace it, but whatever. Eventually, that computer was given to me when the family got a new computer, and I got a new monitor from a teacher. We didn't need it anymore. I also got a scanner printer from a teacher at one point that didn't need it. So that was pretty cool. Can't afford ink, of course, for it, but got it. It's pretty cool. But yeah, no, that was a formative experience in my life, was being scared out of my wits watching a horror anime by faulty electronics. This is when I was a kid or an adult. Hard to say. Let's leave it a mystery, as I'm 4.5 billion years old. We'll have to just take a guess. Regardless, it was not a good time. But yeah, I don't know why my grandfather got rid of that computer, because he kept his old one, the old green screen. I guess he just preferred it. Didn't like the new tech. But quickly moved on past that around like Windows XP, I think, is when he got his like an actual like upgrade. I don't know why. Maybe his old one went down. Gonna guess young adult. Who knows? It's a mystery. How long does it take for a moon to mature? How long does a moon usually live for? Difficult to say. Regardless, though, it was a difficult situation to explain that I was like watching anime and then suddenly the monitor died. To people who just wouldn't understand, I guess. But whatever, it was fine. It got replaced eventually. I went back to like playing RuneScape and watching like Fruits Basket or whatever. And drinking my coffee. And of course working. But that's different. We don't talk about those days. Early internet days. Stretch. Oh man. Hey Zifa, how you doing? How's it going? It's going alright. Just relaxing and chatting about old computers, I guess. Probably almost done with that conversation, because I don't really have much to say about it other than what I've already said. But good otherwise. Been a long day. Quite tired, but, you know, good. I bought a apple Danish as a treat. It was alright. Was not worth the price, but it was pretty good. Should have bought a donut. Would have preferred that. Just saw it and was like, ooh, tasty. Live is a difficult concept for a moon. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. You know how long it took me to develop sentience? You didn't overly major sleep today? You didn't majorly oversleep today? Good. Probably. I don't know. I kind of encourage laziness on this stream, but I suppose if you had responsibilities, I'm happy for you. You know, a little oversleeping now and again is good. Good for the soul. Yeah, glad you're doing good. You guess. Procrastinating, trying to remember how to start crochet. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's just like a loop and twist situation. I don't remember for sure myself. I think you just like take the string, loop it, stick this through, and pull it around, and then do it again over and over again. I don't remember for sure how that worked, but I think that's how it is. But then I guess it would just come unfurled, so maybe that isn't how it's done. Yeah, I don't remember. It's been a while. You're on summer break, so not many pressing things, but waking up at 11 became annoying. Yeah, I mean, like, when I hate, well, when I guess it doesn't really happen that often anymore. But yeah, waking up, like, later than anticipated is kind of fun sometimes, but then you just lose a lot of the day that you could be spending doing stuff. Like, you can be like, you don't have to do important things, you can do fun stuff on the time you're sleeping, but yeah, I get you. It's nice to sleep in sometimes, but if it becomes regular, it gets kind of frustrating, because then it's harder to stop. But, you know, depends on what you gotta do, I suppose, how much you want to actually sleep. It's nice to oversleep sometimes, though. That's my takeaway here. That's what I hope everybody's takeaway is from this stream. Sometimes it's okay to be lazy and sleep. Lazy's a good thing. Just in moderation. Anything fun planned for summer break, or just relaxing until you don't have to worry about well, anything, or while you don't have to worry about anything? I might clean this, actually. I didn't do it on the other side, but I might do it on this side. Just get rid of the doorway. It's kind of like in a different room. It feels weird leaving it uncleaned. I guess it is part of the wall, more than it is part of a different section, so I guess I can just wait. I'm trying to get the roof and stuff done. I might just keep on keeping on over here. It's going to delete a bunch of this, I know it. I'm looking at the percentage at the top. And, like, it's just going to probably delete this as I'm, like, partway through cleaning it up. Ooh, well, no, actually, that worked out pretty well. This part's still dirty, though. But I'm not sure how I can get it, because I think where it's dirty is on the ledge there. I'm not sure if I can actually... Well, no, actually it isn't dirty on the ledge. There you go. Those police sirens in the music, or are they in... I guess it's low fidelity. They always shove in some random sounds to make it like feel kind of, you know, indie. It's always a strange one though. Just hearing like police sirens or something in the background. Maybe that's in real life. I can't really tell. It sounds like it was part of the song because it was really quiet, but it might be real life. It's hard to say. Doing an engineering degree project, but it just involves observing fish and doing water changes at the moment. Well, you know, that's something. More than I'm doing. Well, maybe not. Depends on like what, I guess. It's if it's a comparison sort of thing, I guess different fields of work require different amounts of effort for various things. It's more than I'm doing when I'm referring to looking at fish and adjusting stuff. I'm not currently doing an engineering project, so I'm doing less than that. I suppose it shouldn't be a competition, though. Wasn't my intention, at least, but it might have sounded like I was trying to make it seem like one. Ah, you know what I really want right now? This isn't, like, important or interesting, or, like, this isn't related. This is a tangent, because I'm kind of hungry. There's this, like, very much, like 6 out of 10 top ramen flavor, just called chili, or chili? Sorry, chile, like chili. Sorry, just chili. You know what? It's chile. It's chili flavored ramen, whatever. But like, it's so good. Like, it's so like it's just spicy enough to be like a good amount of spice, but it's not so spicy that like I have to like make an effort to eat it. It's not like nongshim spicy, but it's like kind of like spicy in a good way. And it tastes pretty good, and I'm like, I don't have any because they don't sell it in bulk, and I'm really grumpy about that because all I have is soy ramen, and I do like soy, but I really want the freaking chili ramen, but they don't sell it in bulk, and I'm really grumpy about it. I tried to find some today, but it was all sold out. I bought a little bit of nongshim, which was good. I bought some of the kimchi and the soup. I don't remember what the other one's called. It's just a soup, just chicken or something. I don't remember. Shin. It's called shin. No, it's like nongshim shin. The shin soup. I like that. I think that was it anyway. I bought that. And I bought they're expensive though, so I have to go easy on them. But the chili ramen. I want more of that stuff. Still at 58% temple to go. Yeah, it's a big one, huh? 56, sorry, I misread. But yeah, it's big. I mean, I did the entire exterior at least now, though, so I'm up on the top floor, cleaning. Just cleaning, I don't know. I don't know why I'm cleaning it like this, just because I have no reason not to, I guess. I could go in and just clean each wall, like, one after the other, but this just feels more fun. It's like making the dirt slowly just disappear as you clean is just more fun than doing it all at once, I guess. I don't know. It kind of like adds to the satisfaction of seeing it slowly disappear. I can't imagine there'll be a time lapse for this one because it's such a big project, but or the one it'll be an outside time lapse looking in, so you'll see a little bit of it cleaning, but you won't be able to see the whole thing probably. That seems like the most likely scenario for this one. Probably can switch to this one too. I don't need to be using the really heavy duty one. You can remember how to chain stitch at least? Well, that's half of it. It's not too hard to learn from, or to go from there. Chain stitching is just what you end up doing for the most part. Just trying not to rotate too much, because it'll end up having a real wonky connector. Get all twisty. Hey, Egg Sandwich, how you doing? It's really... it's really weird how much, like, this temple is, like, vibrantly different. Like, it's such a bright temple. Like, I don't know what materials it's meant to be made of, but you'd expect this to be like paint, but it's clearly not paint because it would have degraded over time. It's like, it's so incredibly bright. Whatever this, like, material is. It's so strange. You're fine? That's better than bad. It's not as good as good. But glad it's not bad. You remember buying a package Vietnamese soup on vacation once, and you and your mother couldn't eat it after mixing it with milk in an effort to make it less spicy? It was spicy. Yeah, there's this one like ramen. I think it's ramen. It's soup. I don't remember what it's called. Well, no, I do remember what it's called. But it's like super spicy. It's called buldak, which I think just means fire chicken or something like that. I believe it's... Is it Korean or is it Indian? I cannot remember. Either way, it's like crazy hot. But it's so tasty. It tastes so good. Korean? Yes. Okay, cool. Because I know that on it, there's like a disclaimer that's like... It's the vegan, like... I think... it's vegan... Oh, God, what is it? There's like a disclaimer on it that like says like the vegan something society. And I don't remember if it's... I don't remember who it is. There's an unrelated religious group that has deemed it vegan. So, you know. And that's on the packaging for whatever reason. But I don't remember what it is. So, but yeah, bulldog is Korean. Okay, yeah, but it's good. And I would I would recommend it if you like spicy things. Don't go for the 4 times spicy. That's craziness and you'll regret it. You're fine. It made you spun around and made your headache go away. Well, good, I guess. Drink water. Water's important. A lot of times when I have like a minor headache, it'll go away if I drink some water. Not like, you know, it's not the best solution, but a lot of times people get headaches when they get dehydrated. And of course, water is just a good idea anyway. It is indeed important, yes. You heard that in Peru, chicken is considered a vegetable for some reason? That seems unlikely, but I can't say for sure. I will have to just take that at face value. Because I don't think I'm going to look into it. Hydrate? You can't do this to me. I'm in the middle of cleaning. I've been trying to have my water at room temperature because it's recently been like really cold out of nowhere, and so I want water to be like warmer than cold, so that I can like, you know, not freeze drinking it. But it's not working because it's cold. Room temperature water at you. What's the... Well, I mean, the alternative is drinking cold water when it's cold. I don't feel like shivering while I'm drinking, you know? I mean, I get where you're coming from, though. I understand. I think it's not such a big deal. I'm okay with it being like... I'm trying to make it warm, but it's just not... It's not really warm. It's definitely cold. I don't have any insulation in this room, so... Not really. Oh, this is... these are jobs that I've done. I was like, what the hell is an ancient car? No, it's the car I did with a little engine. It's the original house that I done. A grill in the backyard. They have like little masks on with little like walking stick hoses. The shed from the backyard. There's that freaking gnome down there. Okay, sure. It is gonna be like the prophecy. Oh yeah, last time they did talk about how that's supposed to be a statue of me for some reason. One week you're complaining about it too hot, and the next you complain about it too cold. Make up your mind. That's exactly the problem. It's at that time of year where it's either too hot or too cold, but not, like, consistent. It's awful. Like, I like the fall, but I like the fall when it's further along, when it's actually cold, and not like the fall when it first starts, when it's still halfway summer. I'm gonna check the forecast right now, because I guarantee it's gonna be like 90 tomorrow. Give me a second. It's riveting gameplay. God, I hate my weather app. The weather app, whenever I load it up, it immediately spawns an ad. I say spawns. Tomorrow's 91 degrees. The day after is 85, and it goes back up to 100 for a week. And then it goes back down to 80, supposedly. It's cold today, it'll be hot tomorrow. It's awful. There's the mayor's house, I recognize that. There's the mayor's boat with like the cat. There's the Ulysses on the front, the figurehead. The houseboat thing they had. Ew, yeah, I know, right? It's awful. Back to the, according to the news, you apparently had 2 weeks of spring. Wow. You're the chosen one, cleaner person. Chosen one. Oh, man, I need to watch Kung Pao. I know I just talked about like not liking sitting and watching movies for a long time, but I really want to see if Kung Pao holds up. I used to love that movie, and I'm just not sure the humor will hold up, and I really want to watch it again. Just to see. I suppose that's kind of a... Was that a movie with a big release, or was it like indie? Like that was like a movie that I feel like nobody, like people have heard of, but nobody remembers. Or maybe the other way around, people like remember it but don't know what it is. Like I think that people tend to remember the cow doing like martial arts. I don't think they actually remember like the movie. Chosen by who? Nobody knows, but someone said that. Yeah, that seems about right. Yeah, that movie's got some quotes that I really enjoy. You're a bad person to ask for remembering movies, but you think everybody's lightly nerdy knows Kung Pao? Good. I don't remember if it's good, but I remember liking it and thinking it's really funny. Just dubbing over a random, like, old Chinese movie, Chinese martial arts movie with like American, like, superimposing. It's so stupid. Such a funny idea that like hasn't happened again. They like teased a sequel, but they never came out with it. So that leads me to believe that it must have bombed. Cause like that, like I remember people like talking about the movie when it first came out, but like since it never got the sequel, it must have done really bad. But I guess like Starship Troopers was a similar vibe, right? Like it like remembered fondly now, but at the time was like really taken badly and like was not a good movie at the time. the helicopter, the fire truck, the fire station, the fire tower. Very cool. I have actually watched, I was gonna say recently, this isn't true. I've watched it fairly recently, meaning within like the last couple of years, probably. But Kung Fu Hustle is still quite good. Even though it was kind of strange. And again, not super well received at the time. Well, I'm not sure about the other movies by those people. I think those are the same people that made Shaolin Soccer. I haven't seen that one in a long time. I don't know if that one's still good. I don't watch movies very often, but the movies that I do watch, I half remember and am curious if they were any good. I'll tell you what movie is good, though. Pacific Rim. That's a fantastic movie for sure. I'm not going to go on a tangent about that again, though. I've done enough of those. Trying to use fluffy yarn. Bad choice. Yeah, but it'll make some really cool, like, gloves or hats. Oh, that's the... I was like, what is that eagle? That's the airplane with the hyper cruiser or whatever on it. And I actually don't know what this is. What is that? I have no idea what this is. I remember cleaning this, but oh wait, that's the cat monster truck. Okay, I remember that. I got it. Oh wait, this is like the Pride of Place wall. I can't grab that one yet. I gotta look at all the others. But yeah, I mean, maybe not the best option. Like fluffy yarn, I imagine is difficult in that it's difficult to find the mainline string you're working with, but I think it's a cool challenge, and it would come out to like having a really cool piece once you finish doing whatever you're doing with it. I guess relearning, like you say, like learning how to crochet again with it is probably not the best option, but I think if you actually are making something with it, like a little, like I don't know, a little cat mattress or something would be really nice. I think they'd, well, I don't know, maybe they'd appreciate it. I think they would. Cats like fluffy things. Or I could just make a kitty toy. That might be fun, too. Just a little, like, series of strings for a cat to play with. Cal here. There's no chance of getting near the volcano's rim, but I've spotted something weird. I'm going in for a closer look. I don't remember any of their voices, I'm afraid. It's an abandoned mobile mining drill, and it's broken into the magma chamber itself. Wild. I wonder who could have cleaned that thing up. The operation likely to stabilize the whole place. What has the mayor done? Oh, never mind. I didn't do it. I didn't clean that. I didn't know anything about it. What a surprise that exists. Wow, a mining drill? Wild. As opposed to a other kind of drill, I guess. Military drill. Or fire drill, perhaps? But yeah, the statue, the recreational vehicle, and the hand were all pretty recent, so I remember these ones. Also, I like that this is like, presumably, this statue was built by the ancient people. So, like, this being, like, armless by default, like, they carved this or painted this, yeah, painted, well, carved this structure, or this like, relief with, with this statue already missing an arm. And this hand, they didn't clean in their carving. They didn't paint it clean, because this is actually the same color as that is. They kept it, like, the dirty color, though. Maybe they thought I'd give up on that one. They're like, oh, they're not going to bother cleaning this one. It's too weird. It's a hand. Hands are strange. Hey, Randall. How you doing? Wait, Zerendal. That was it. Like an elf. Zerendal. Was washing my washers. You know, we're washing. Just washing about. You know how it is. Hydrate. Ow, man. No! No else. I'm sorry. They have a little pet stegosaurus. That's the slide. I remember that. They have the jungle gym. The skate park. That's the skate park. Cool, cool. I like this. This is fun. Just recounting. Do it like a dwarf. What's a good like Zerendal? I don't know how to wouldn't know how to pronounce it like a dwarven name. There's not enough apostrophes. And glottal stops. Zerandal probably would be closer in that case. Zerandal, Zerandalson, or Zerandal daughter, or Zerandal kin, depending on gender, I suppose. I should probably get that extension, but I don't know how to install it. Eh, good enough. Okay. I'll definitely remember to pronounce it like that. Wink. Basically, I'll pronounce it phonetically pretty much every time I see it, but I will try to remember how you want it pronounced, but I won't remember, I swear. I will try, though. This is the recreational vehicle that turned into an alien spaceship. There's the two-story house with the king on top and little roadster. Very fun, very exciting. I have this username since 2007. Don't remember why I used it. Yeah, that's normal. I think most people have their first username since blank years and don't remember why they had it. My username is from when I played RuneScape, and I wanted to make a new character to play with a friend, but couldn't think of anything. So I thought what would be cool is there was a Crimson Moon event, like a Blood Moon event coming up, and I was like, ooh, a Blood Moon, and I tried Blood Moon, that didn't work, so I tried Crimson Moon. Crimson Moon didn't work. So I changed the C to a K, and that didn't work, so I changed the Z, or the S to a Z, and that worked. So I'm Crimson Moon because of RuneScape, because I wanted to play with a friend, and there was a Blood Moon. It's not a... I remember why... Sorry, let me rephrase that as I remember why my name is the way it is, but I've kept it this way forever, so... I can't even remember the year that I made it, but it's been a long time. Buddhist McFarmer cancels gather plants. Interrupted by were hamster. Whoa, no. I'm guessing you're playing Dwarf Fortress in that case. But with that phrasing. Also, you're French, so you probably had a different pronunciation in mind. Oh, maybe. I will not be putting on a French accent. Just to preempt the potential request for a French pronunciation of your name. It's time to clean the mega wall. I think this might be related to the vehicles that I've cleaned. Although, I don't recall cleaning the truck. This is my car. I remember cleaning the golf cart, but I don't remember cleaning an SUV at all. When did that happen? Did I clean an SUV? Maybe? You started the DF event log and made up the message. I see. I mean, that sounds like something that would or could happen. Remember there was this really old, I say really old game, it was an older game. One of the original games that I remember seeing that prompted me to start streaming, not streaming, sorry, that prompted me to start making YouTube videos years and years ago, which is called Towns. And in that game, there's like a werepig sometimes that just spawns and will like harass your village, or your town, if you will. And I think Towns is very similar to Dwarf Fortress. It's been a long time, so I don't remember anything about it, but I think it's very much in the same realm as Dwarf Fortress, but it had like graphics very early on instead of ASCII. But I remember that being a very funny thing to come across for the first time. That's probably on my YouTube channel, when I used to title everything Season 1, Season 2, Episode 1, and then stopped doing that because that literally made it really hard to keep uploading because I regularly started new games because I played a lot of early access games. And I had to keep on restarting my saves, stuff like that. Or I had to switch computers and use a different save, stuff like that. It was awful. It was a bad idea. Those are bad videos. You shouldn't watch them, but they exist. You also have another username of Flavor Flav. This one has a real reason behind it. Been a while since you touched Dwarf Fortress, but you love it. Yeah, I'm playing it right now. It's good on Wednesdays. I like it a lot. I'm having a good time. I played it a long time ago, but never really got super into it. And then decided to come back to it on stream, where I could like get advice and have contribution and stuff like that, and that was a good idea. It's a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying it. But, you know, it's tough. It's tough. I haven't had any major tragedies aside from the one deletion of worlds, though. That was kind of a big deal, but only lost about 2 hours of time, so... And the only reason I did that is because my friend had apparently been playing it on my account, and it just cloud saved to my computer or something, cloud loaded, whatever. And I was like, I don't want that, so I deleted it. But it turns out I deleted the one that had the wrong name because the naming convention is strange. So that was fun. Either way, it's resolved itself now. Aside from, you know, the endless abyss that those dwarves have been cast into. But we don't talk about that much. It's important to remember, but not to dwell. Didn't Limmy die of dehydration there? No, Limmy's still alive. Ray died of dehydration. Limmy is the duck that's in my current Dwarf Fortress campaign. No major tragedies. Well, yeah. I mean, well, sorry, let me sorry. Aside from the, like, initial, like, 30 people who died of dehydration in the year of 101. But we don't talk about them, alright? We sorted the drinking problem. Nobody's gonna die of dehydration anymore. Now we just remember the good old days of when Ungo Brightclaw got shot by Celine the elf in the year of like 98 or whatever. It's our only story. It's the only one we're allowed to recount for fear of reprisal from the gods. But I hear it's a good story. We've crafted many a goods with it, depicting such the event was so famous, including our figurine for 40 grand. That it just baffles me that anything in my, like, that one figure is more expensive than my entire empire was before then. At some point I'm gonna get attacked, right? Like, in Dwarf Fortress. Like, there's definitely gonna be, like, a raid or something to claim all of my artifacts. That's gotta happen. I'm pretty near a goblin village, and I'm assuming they're hostile, right? Maybe that's spoilers to confirm or deny, but I'm waiting for it. I'm not gonna prepare for it, but I am waiting for it. Maybe I should make an effort to look at those world updates I regularly get and be like, oh yeah, I should probably, you know, put up my defenses. Because, you know, blank is approaching, you know, it's hard to say, like, because, like, you know, I only have like 100 dwarves, right? It's not like I can really do much in the way of defense unless I conscript every single person in the... No, that's not even true. Like, I have 100 dwarves, but like 40 of them are children, so like... I don't even really have enough for a proper army if I wanted to defend anything. I could make a drawbridge, which is probably what I will do next time. I'll probably like set up a drawbridge to sort of guarantee that nobody can come in when I'm not ready for it, I guess. And then I'll forget that I can do that, and then it'll just get me in trouble a lot. I don't even know how the drawbridge is going to work. Am I going to have direct control over that, or is the dwarves going to have direct control over that? Because I have very little control in the game, other than just designating zones and stuff like that, so I'd be pretty surprised if I have control over it. But maybe I would. Who knows? Depending on your trade wealth or fortress wealth. Yeah, I don't know. More than it was. Unprepared waiting. Yeah. More fun. More fun than prepared waiting. Tragedy is half of the fun, right? The devastation of the mountain home. I mean, not fun for the dwarves, but fun for me and viewers. Maybe not fun for me either, actually. There's a lot of progress to lose suddenly. I guess it is technically playing on like permadeath, isn't it? You lose... Yeah, I imagine that they'll just, like, destroy everything and kill everyone, and then it'll just end, so... It is just a permadeath game. Which I hadn't even realized until now. I guess RimWorld's the same, though, isn't it? Although they at least give you, like, a free unit to, like, take you back. They give you, like, the Stranger or whatever. or the Man in Black. They'll send you like one colonist if you're like if you've like lost the campaign basically to keep you alive. Give you one more chance. Got that artifact that depicts an elf and a human, and the elf is shooting the human. The artworks relate to the shooting of that human by the elf. That's the one. I told that story to a friend, and they absolutely cracked up the entire time. Like, because it was just such a baffling, like, existence. And, like, the problem is, like, I also, like, talked about the previous artifacts and, like, stuff like that. And, there was some other stuff going on when we were talking, and I kept getting interrupted while I was trying to tell the story, so it ended up taking about, like, half an hour to tell. And the payoff was just, like, apparently so funny that it was, like, incredible. And it was a good time. It was a good story. It was a good telling. But, yeah, there must be more that happened in the world worth depicting. The writing style is very specific, yeah. Very specific. I mean, how else will you know? Okay, I think that's... well, maybe not all of them. There you go. There's that one. That one. That one's not done either. There you go. Okay, now I gotta clean off this edge here, and then that should be all of the upstairs done. I appreciate the little sprinkles of water just splashing on the ground down there. Because I'm just missing a bunch. I can't tell if that's clean, like right there. It looks like it's rusty, but I can't tell. It doesn't look like it's made of metal, does it? Oh, maybe it is. Still can't tell if it's rusty. It just can't... it's definitely not... well... it is metal. It's metallic. These fishes of twine. Made a net thimble. Alright, cool. Something. I think you first watched me when I played Shadows of Doubt? Something like that? Did I ever go back to it? I went back to it like one time, I think. I do want to go back to it again because it updated a bunch, and I really had a lot of fun with it. I don't know when I'll do it though. It'll be on a Saturday. It'll be sorry, not Saturday, Sunday. It'll be on the same day that this is currently going when I do play it again. But I do intend to go back to it because it was a lot of fun. That was the time I had a hard time figuring out the square meterage or whatever of the apartment. Really embarrassing math. Depending on world size, some smaller, sparsely populated worlds get so few events that the liaison will say the world is the same as ever. That sucks. At least my world does say, at least, that I get like a lot going on, even though I don't pay any attention to it. But yeah, no. Shadows of Doubt, fantastic game. Had a lot of fun playing it. I had this idea, but I'm not going to go through with it because I realized how boring it is. I had this idea to have a no murder run. Because that just seemed like fun to me. I liked picking up trash and stuff and doing like the little tasks. But decided that was going to be a bit boring to watch because it's a whole lot of the same, just running around picking up junk. Whee! So I'm not going to do that, but I did think about it. but I will be playing it normally. I'll probably have to make a new world, though. It depends on how the game handles world states. Because it's been updated a couple of times, I think. So it probably they probably changed how the world generates. So you don't get stuck behind, like, random stuff. Because I remember distinctly getting... Maybe it wasn't during stream. Maybe it was on my own. I played a little bit solo. But, I remember getting, like, a briefcase job that I had to pick up a briefcase and open it. It would give me the details, but during that job, my briefcase got stuck inside of, like, some debris on the ground and I couldn't pick it up. I just had to, like, ignore that job, and that really bothered me. But that was probably solved. That kind of issue, at least. There was updates to the world gen, you're not sure? Alright. Yeah, and I know that they added, like, new murderers and stuff like that. But either way, I'll probably have to create a new person, which is no big deal. Like, it's not a problem. I had to do that anyway, I think, originally. Because I created, like, the tutorial world, and then I think I deleted it accidentally. And I had to start it again. But not the tutorial, just regular. I don't remember exactly, it was something like that. Oh, right, because I tried to like have Twitch chat. I tried to do chat integration or whatever. And so there was like 3 people from chat that were in that second campaign that I did, but none of them ever did anything, so it was just kind of weird. Just every once in a while I'd come across somebody's name and I'd be like, oh, weird. So I probably won't turn that on, because that was kind of awkward and strange. But it was fun. It was a fun idea. If I had like a huge audience, it might be more interesting. But having like, because it's like the entire town of like, 50 people was filled. I think that'd be a lot cooler than like having like 2 or 3 in like 100 names. Because that's just kind of wacky and weird. Very, very like immersion breaking, maybe. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but it's definitely strange. I wonder if they actually wrote lore for what kind of material this is. Because there's that stone statue that's obviously like a different material than whatever. They don't think they talked about what material it was made of, but it was definitely like a different material than had ever been discovered. And they equated this sort of civilization to be like Atlantis, but in the Pacific. So Pacifis, whatever. So I'm guessing that this is like some ancient material that only exists around where the temple was created. But then they didn't make the stones around the area out of this material. They just left them all goopy and dirty. So it's hard to say for sure what kind of material this is, or if it's even unique. Yay! Either way, it's cool. Okay, atrium inner ceiling's nearly done. Where am I missing? Oh, it must be this yellow ring around the edge. I'm gonna say, because there's like no way I've missed any of this. Although, maybe I have. Looking at it, it's all done. It must be like little bits of, like, yeah, it's like little tiny flecks of dirt here and there that I just kind of missed. Also, there may be like a ring or a lip there that I need to go back in and do. That could be. And go up, I mean, up there. But who knows? Maybe it's fine. I don't know if I've mentioned it on stream, but after watching one of the people I watch briefly played Fields of Mystria. And I saw Ray was playing it a bunch. And so I bought it and tried it, and it's very good. And I'm really excited about, like, playing more of that. I really hope it gets more updates soon, because it's a lot of fun. It's very relaxing. I love those kinds of games. I like Harvest Moon and stuff. I haven't played Stardew yet, but I really want to. I don't know when, though. It's a huge time sink. And I figured Mystria will be a game just that I'll play on my own and have fun with. And enjoy. But I very much want to play Stardew on stream. Just need to find the time for it. It'll probably be like a longer campaign. Maybe I'll do that... maybe I'll do that after Raft? I was planning on doing Raft. I think for the time slot that I'm currently doing Planet Zoo, maybe. Did I have a plan for what I was doing after Planet Zoo? I can't remember discussing it. Because Planet Zoo is not going to last much longer, unfortunately, with the way that the game runs. It's getting kind of tedious to build. Even though I'm enjoying the process, it'll occasionally just get really frustrating. So I'm going to end that one soon. And I'll have to move on to something else, which is a shame, because I know a lot of people tune into the Saturday stream specifically for that. But either way, it's going to have to go, because I can't really... And I'm not going to make another zoo, because my current zoo was like... The whole idea behind my current zoo was I was going to try and get every animal I possibly could in before the game decided to not handle it anymore. And it's gotten there a lot sooner than I anticipated. So, that's unfortunate. There's little like band-aids and stuff I could do to like sort of fix it, where I could like lower the guest count and stuff like that, but that would only like help it by a little while. Because like I think that the number of animals is mostly what's causing the issue, less the guests themselves. But I could lower the number of guests in the zoo, and that'd probably give me an extra week or two, maybe. But I don't want to keep on... I don't want to have a ghost park, you know? I don't want a zoo that has no guests at all in it. When I'm building, that feels a bit silly and boring. It ruins half the fun of making the zoo to begin with, is just having the people roam around and look at your animals. But that's probably the most reliable way to improve the frame rates. I've looked into it a bit, and there isn't much to be done about it other than that, and getting less animals, and making sure the animals don't overbreed and stuff like that. I think part of the downfall was probably the path size I chose. I should have done giant paths, because that would have made it a lot easier for guests to get around each other without bumping, so they wouldn't have to keep on repathing over each other over and over again when they would interfere. I think that would have helped. I suppose I could add some rides to get around the zoos, but I didn't leave much space for that sort of thing. That'd probably help to alleviate some of the foot traffic a bit here and there. Dunno. It's a rough one. But either way, I'm planning on ending Planet Zoo in the next couple of weeks, maybe a month. It's been a good ride. I've had a lot of fun with it. Been playing it for... goodness, like... I don't even know. Almost... maybe almost a year? Maybe a little over a year? It's been a good time, though. Every Saturday for a year. It's time to move on to something different for a while, until I either get a bunch more of the DLCs or get a much stronger computer, I think. Problem is, it's going to have that same issue that I always have when I swap games, where I just kind of, like, am confused and, like, self-conscious, maybe? Is that the word? I don't know. It's just going to feel awkward, because I'm so used to playing a very specific game. Happened with a lot of my longer ones, like when I played Medieval Dynasty, or when I did Valheim or Gloomhaven. Very, very long games that I suddenly stopped playing. Was really difficult to, like, get used to not playing anymore, suddenly. Dunno. Yeah, I do gotta decide what to play on that stream slot. I think Raft would be kind of fun, because it is a game like where you like build your base and sort of stuff. You sort of build a base and like sort of explore around. It wouldn't be nearly as long as like Planet Zoo though. Maybe I could do like Farming Sim or something. That'd be kind of fun. Just a very like relaxing game that I would do that. But I feel like that's more of a Sunday stream than it is a Saturday stream. Like, Planet Zoo is relaxing, but I feel like Farming Sim is much more of a, like, a one-off every couple of weeks sort of thing, not an every week sort of thing. Maybe I could do the hunting game, but again, I feel like that's a bit polarizing. Maybe not polarizing, but that, it's loud noises randomly in, like, the midst of very quiet. I feel like that'd be difficult to watch every single week, even though it'd be kind of fun. There's, like, fishing games I could probably do as well. But again, those ones feel like they'd be relaxing streams, less than consistent streams, so gotta figure something out. Don't know what, though. Any input would be great, if you have any advice or ideas or suggestions amongst the list below the stream, or anyone you want to shout out or find too, but I don't know. I'll figure something out regardless. All in due time. I still have a while before I have to make that decision. I was considering Parkitect as well, but I'm not sure I want to go straight into another, like, management builder right away. But I do want to play that at some point. But that actually has, like, goals and stuff. Like, there's a story mode for that, so I guess I could do the story. I guess Planet Zoo probably has a story, too. Because I created my own challenge by doing franchise mode, which made it so I couldn't, like, find an end point. This area is surprisingly hard to clean just because of how tall the roof is. It means that you have to use like a very small, like, nozzle radius to make sure you get the cleaning power you need. See, like, that's too far. And if I do it like this, that'll, like, clean the middle but not any further. So if I go to, like, the extra long one, that'll clean perfectly, but it's such a small area, so you really have to be kind of, like, consistently slow and methodical about it, versus, like, kind of just going over it quickly with the little spritzer. Suppose I don't have to hold down the button the whole time. There's actually an auto shoot button available that would have helped a lot doing this sort of thing. This game's just about done too, thinking about it. I'll have to find a game to replace this. Maybe this is what I was going to replace with Raft. I knew I was going to play Raft at some point. I can't remember what I intended to replace with what. I gotta write stuff down, otherwise I just forget to curse. Yep. Yep. But Raft was definitely a game I intended to play. Whenever it was supposed to come up, it was one of the games that I intended to play. I wish there was a way to, like... Well, I could go back to the VOD. I wish there was a way to, like, figure out what I said I was going to play. I could go back and watch every single VOD in the hopes that I find the one that I discussed it on. But that's going to be pretty unlikely. Although I think there's like a transcript sort of thing. Oh no, I don't. No, never mind. My transcript doesn't transfer. I say because I have an auto transcript right now, but it doesn't always get accurate. But I could have used that to search if it would have uploaded alongside the video. Because you can when there's a transcript on the video for like subtitles, you can find what was said in the video by looking up the words in the video that you remember. I mean, that doesn't always work, unless it's very specific, because you'll find thousands and thousands of videos with the exact same words a lot of the time, but when I was trying to figure out that Luigi's Mansion theme that I was humming that one time that got me demonetized, I knew the words of the Miss Olive song, so I typed in Miss Olive, Better Not a Curse does, and that the transcript came up, and that's how I found that video. Figured out where I found it from. It was really a fun time being able to find something for once when you're actually looking for it. It's difficult in this day and age currently. I was pretty much resigned to never finding that video. I knew it was a video I watched pretty regularly because I like that video a lot. Not the video itself, but I like that series of videos. It's one of those ones that I can like watch multiple times because they're just sort of chatting the whole time. And it's not like, it's like something that you can like watch and have fun watching, but I want to play that game series on stream at some point. Probably around like Halloween time because it's meant to be like a spooky game in quotations. But I'd have to purchase it. They're not terribly expensive, but I'd still have to get them. So I gotta figure out the time to do that. I got lots of plans and things, you know. Still gotta figure out the art stream and when I intend to do that. I gotta like plan it a couple of weeks in advance. The maybe even like up to a month. The blank from memory drawing stream, because I need people to show up with suggestions for that. Otherwise, it'll get really boring really fast. But I guess, for the most part, it's probably just going to end up being Pokemon, I would guess. Probably do cartoon characters and stuff, too, but... Or, like, historical buildings I've never seen. Give me the Washington Monument, I can draw that. Just like this. No, wait, I can't do it. It's spoilers for the potential stream, sorry. Can't draw it. Almost got me. Almost got myself. But, yeah, that one's gonna happen a couple weeks in advance. I don't know when, but eventually. Soon. Probably around the time I hit 300. I've been getting followers pretty regularly, which is really nice, but as more followers trickle in, I'll arrange the drawing stream at 300. Which means it'll probably be a month after that. Because that's what I tend to do. When I get to like 350, then I'll do the drawing stream, because it was meant to be for a 300 celebration sort of thing. I haven't actually drawn with my left hand in a long time. I bet my skill level's gone down the drain completely. I was actually developing some amount of, like, control with my left hand, and now it's just gone. It's one of those use it or lose it sort of situations, I guess. Well, that's not true. That's not true at all. Drawing's pretty easy, generally speaking. The skills you develop never really go away, just sometimes you get rusty, but getting back the skills that you lost by being rusty only takes a little while. If you've ever taken like a long break from like doing something, you go back to it and it doesn't take you that long to get back into it. It's the bicycle thing, right? When you don't ride your bicycle for a long time, it's kind of rough at first, but you immediately learn how to do it again because you remember how to do it. Speaking of bicycles, I haven't ridden a bicycle in years either. The last bike I remember riding was a child's bike. I say child's. It was not a child's bike, but it was a bike that was not meant for adults. It was quite a large bike, but it was like not an adult bike. And it broke. That's why I learned it wasn't an adult's bike, as it broke. One of the sprockets or whatever, I don't know if sprocket's the right word. It was the axle, I think it was. Because it was, like, made for children. Not a full-grown adult. And that's the bike it used to belong to a partner of mine, and they left it with me because because they were moving away, but didn't have, like, the storage to have the bike along with them, so they left it with me, so I was using it to get to work. I broke some kid's bike. No, it was my partner's childhood bike, but they never like got they were quite, well, no, they were quite tall. I was gonna say they were quite small, but like they're quite small compared to me, but they were still like around 6 feet tall. But anyway, point is, they were able to ride the bike, but I was not, because I'm very big. I'm enormous. I'm like quite tall, and I'm quite broadly built, and I'm quite like hefty. I wouldn't say that I'm super like, you know, I'm not like terribly overweight or anything, but I am like large. Like generally speaking, I've got a lot of muscle. I've got some fat. I'm like, imagine dad bod. That's about what I have. For lack of a better descriptor. But still in quite good shape, but a little chubby, I guess. But no, so like I very clearly should not have been riding that bike, because that bike was made for people who were, you know, around 150 pounds or something. And I was, imagine the moon. Yeah, imagine the moon. That's how big I was on that bike. But yeah, so it was a bike meant for younger people, but not children, but like middle teens probably. I don't know. The partner was rich, and they had like 15 bikes growing up, because every year they'd get a new bike, and it's not worth going into. But the point is, it was a bike that I should not have been riding. Just be aware of that. Anyway, it's whatever. So, that was the bike I was using to get to work, and it broke down. But I mean, like, that was a job I actually kind of enjoyed, but I hated my boss. Was that when I was working in the deli, or was that the hospital? I think it was the deli. I hated my boss work. So, fun, more vague story time. When I worked in a hospital, let's go to the deli one first. I talked about the deli job before, and I had the boss that I had that was bad. But I'm going to mention it offhandedly. So, they didn't get fired, but they should have been. But it's kind of whatever. They were obviously just stressed. It's whatever. Like, I get it now. Like, years later, I can understand where they were coming from. But they were really mean. But I used to have to ride a bike across like a mile-long bridge or whatever, 2 miles long, whatever. It was a really, really long bridge, and it was pretty narrow and incredibly windy because it was along the coast. And so I used to have to ride that bike along that bridge. And on the bridge is when the bike broke, and it broke by like halting my mobility completely and flipping me over the handlebars. Like, the wheel, I don't know how to explain the device. So the way the wheel was like, you know how a bike is like shaped like, well, let me go into a shadow instead of in the sun. So, God, don't draw on the dirt, because that's gonna ruin, okay, do it like this. So a bike is shaped like, you know, this. Kind of. You know? There's a little seat here. So the front wheel right here is where, like, this sort of, if you're looking at the tire, it looks like this, and it has like these two things here, the axle. This one just like broke while I was riding across this super long bridge. So when the bike was like going, this tire just kind of went like that instead of like this, and made me go whoosh, and just land on my back halfway across the bridge with like traffic in the like early morning in the dark on this super windy like bridge. And it was so painful and so distressing and frustrating. And like, you know, nobody stopped to check if I was okay, because it was a busy bridge in the early morning and everybody was getting to work. So I was just sitting there like in like excruciating pain. My bike had broken like halfway, and I'm like, I called my boss and like, I can't go to work, and because my bike is busted and I can't. There's no way I can get there right now. And I didn't want to go to work because I was in pain, not because the bike broke. I probably could have walked there, but she gave me such a hard time. She was like, because I'd missed like 3 or 4 days because I have a bad immune system, so I got sick, so I had to miss like 2 or 3, 4 days, something like that. I don't remember exactly the amount of time, but it was like a few days. And so I was coming into work after being out for a few days. And she's like, you don't have to lie to me about it. And I'm like, what do you mean? And it's like, you're obviously not sick. You just don't want to come to work. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I'm like, yeah, like, basically, it was sort of a I would fire you if I could, but we don't have the workers situation. Was like basically how they were acting, which is, you know, whatever, but it was really frustrating. So I just like walked back home with my busted bike, and I had to like, well, my partner's busted bike, and I had to replace it, the tire. And as I replaced the tire, they were like, okay, well, we can't check it out. You'll have to give us money up front to check it out because it takes time. And I'm like, how much money? And they're like, well, probably only like $20. And I'm like, all right, here's $20. And like, they're like, okay, you leave it here for a couple of days. We'll tell you what's wrong with it. I'm like, okay. So I left it there for a couple of days, went back. And then like, they're like, oh yeah, we know what's wrong with it. It's the axle's busted or whatever the word. I keep calling it an axle. I don't know if it's the axle. It's whatever. It's the part of the wheel. It's like right there. And it's like, okay, what do you need? And they're like, well, it's gonna be like $100. And I'm like, that's crazy talk, but fine. So I'm not about to tell my partner that I broke their bike. I'm gonna get it repaired. And so they like give it back to me, and it's like, oh yeah, like, you know, how old's your kid? And I'm like, what? And it's like, oh yeah, no, it's like, you know, for the bike. And I'm like, what? And it's like, it's a kid's bike. And I'm like, oh, I see. Oh, great. Been riding a kid's bike. So the reason I discovered it was a kid's bike and that I shouldn't have been riding it is because it broke and I had to take it to the bike shop to get it repaired. And I guess it was so expensive because it was a custom bike or something like that, or maybe they were just scamming me, I have no idea. Anyway, point is, I lost a lot of money because I couldn't go to work, and I just got off being sick, and I had to repair the bike that I shouldn't have been riding to begin with. So I just had to start walking to work from then on, and it was miserable. It was so far away. And I got a new job at the, point is, oh no, yeah, basically, yeah. So, yeah, I left that job eventually to go work at the hospital that I worked at, which was, you know, great. But, everybody at that job was great except for my boss, which is the worst. Which is a shame, 'cause that's always how it is, right? So I went to work at the hospital, and the hospital gave me like a free bus badge that I could like use, and they were like, oh yeah, you can just take the bus. And I'm like, oh great. So I took the bus, and it was great. Not a permission to ride the bike. I did, but I wasn't about to tell them that I broke it. Of course I had permission. But they didn't tell me it was a child's bike. They didn't tell me that I was like far too large to ride it. What do you mean, why not? Because I don't know. Because I felt like it'd be a bad idea. I don't know why I didn't want to tell them. I broke something of theirs. It felt bad. I'm sure they would have understood, but I didn't think it was like... I was panicky about it, I guess. I don't know. I don't care. Like, I wasn't in the right headspace about it. I just smashed something that I knew that my partner liked, and I had to be, like, upset about it. They didn't live nearby. They were, like, in a totally different, like, city or whatever. Like, They just moved away because they didn't... Like, they got a new job somewhere or whatever, so... They had to move, so they left their bike with me for safekeeping, and I was using it because they said I could, but apparently I just didn't know that it was a child's bike. But... The point is, I don't know, it was years and years ago. I don't know how long ago it was. It was a long time ago. My mentality was probably different back then. And nowadays I wouldn't care that much. I would still be upset, but I wouldn't care. But yeah, so I left that job for the hospital job that I had. And, like, I felt bad, because I really did enjoy the job outside of, like, you know, the boss making unreasonable requests and whatever. And the hospital job was fantastic. Like, literally, no notes. Great job. Actually, not great job. I literally started the story to talk about this. I had a huge tangent to talk about this other boss that I had. It had this bad habit of, like, being too good of a boss, if that kind of makes sense. I don't know how to explain it other than, like, they give you that sort of, like, feeling that like, they're out to get you. But, like, they're like being very, very, very nice. But it's like, are you being nice, or are you just like, you know, maybe I was just really paranoid at the time, but, like, I guess that's because I've never met anybody, like, so accepting of things. Like, and they're always like, oh, if you need help, always just ask, you know, are you doing okay? How's your job here? How you liking it? Is everything all right? That kind of thing. It was kind of like suffocating, I guess, because they were being too nice about it. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. Who knows? But to me, that made a lot of sense. So it's sort of like it felt like a malicious kind of kindness that I wasn't comfortable with. And, it felt like they were constantly, like, instead of, like they were just asking to be nice, clearly, but, and, like, be helpful, because they were my boss. But to me, it felt like they were, like, trying to imply I was doing something wrong all the time, that I needed help. So that's, I guess I misunderstood it. Like, again, hindsight 2020 sort of situation. Looking back from now, I can tell that was not the case, but at the time, it felt like they were, like, criticizing me all the time. Because they were really, really kind, and I hadn't, like, experienced that kind of thing, I guess. Especially not from a person of authority. But it got to a point where, like, it was just too much. And I ended up, developing severe social anxiety from it. So that was fun. So my boss being too nice to me gave me really bad anxiety. I guess it's because every other boss I'd had up till then was, like, kind of scummy. So I just assumed every boss was kind of a scumbag. And so when they weren't, I was, like, thinking there must be ulterior motives. And so, yeah, anyway. Lost that job eventually. Which really sucks, because I liked that job, but oh well. But the crux of the story is, I don't think I've ever had, like, a good boss. Sorry, I don't think I've ever had a better boss than that. But it was right after a terrible boss that, like, made me mistrust all bosses that I've had ever since. Because, like, I dealt with, like, bad bosses. And, like, yeah, like I probably talked about the one that, like, made me commit fraud on a regular basis. But I didn't want to lose the job. They got fired and arrested, so that's fine. But it was after I lost the job. But, that was like a statute of limitations situation. I'm sure that's like way too long in the past to be like get me in trouble. Although I don't think I would have gotten in trouble because it was clearly not me. It was like an under duress situation. Like my job was on the line, so I had to do what I had to do, kind of thing. Moro, no, yeah. I'm not gonna go too much more into detail about bad jobs, but yeah, no. It's just had a lot of bosses that I would consider bad. I had another nice boss when I was working in medical transportation, which was, you know, hospital adjacent. That was a job that a friend of mine helped me get, but I lost that job because that was, that one's not worth going into detail about. I lost that job too because of something that happened, which was unfortunate, because I really liked that job too. Everybody there was really nice and helped. A friend helped me get that one, so I felt bad when I lost it. You managed to make a 10x10 stitch square. Nice. Out of twine. You gonna use it for like a coaster? Could be fun. But yeah, anyway, so I became an artist after I lost that job. And, you know, blank, personal stuff. Then I became an artist. So, I've been an artist since then, and it's been great. I mean, great as in, like, you know, better than any other job. A job I can stand doing and don't hate, kind of stuff. Good. Good time. It's wobbly at the start and the row edges, but some of it's nice and uniform. Well, alright, at least you learned how to do it again. You remembered. You've regained the capacity with which to create using crochet. Congratulations. Crochet achieved. Tune in next time for more Crim story time on Saturday streams, because nothing's happening worth talking about. It's the only time they happen is literally like when I was playing Valheim. It happened a lot, but mostly it's only happening on these streams because there's just so much there's so much to do with nothing to talk about. It's just a good time to rant about stuff because I like complaining. Complaining's fun. Anyway, that was the last time I ever rode a bike. To digress back to skills we remember despite not using them in a long time. So if I rode a bike now, I'm sure I'd remember how after a few tries. Just take a bit of time. I imagine I'd fall once or twice. Well, I wouldn't fall, I would catch myself before I fell, but I'm sure I'd have a hard time at first. I wouldn't let myself fall, I don't want to break something. Crazy. Beyond your previous skill level, you don't think you ever reliably got the accuracy. Things would always increase or decrease randomly. Oh, cool. Well, congratulations, well done. Do you have any plans to make anything with your newfound skills? Or are you just gonna do it for fun, like as a like a fiddly, what do you call it, like a fidgety thing? Nope. Okay. I know a lot of people who just make like when they do like crochet or knitting, they'll just make like panels for a quilt and just like stitch them together, but they never actually like plan on anything. That could be fun. One day, you'll be seized by a strange mood and be compelled to make something, just like in Dwarf Fortress. There are traces of an odd luminous ore everywhere. I've never seen anything like it. Hang on, there's something else up here. Ding. Look out! An aircraft just shot straight out of the volcano and headed your way. Where? I don't believe you, suddenly. I feel like, there's only one aircraft that I've encountered in the game so far that would have shot out of that volcano. And it's like a hypersonic plane that would have been here by now. Yeah. No, these don't become possessed. Possessed with the spirit of crafting. You'll make, you'll randomly make some art projects worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. But you'll never know it. It'll just be another bracelet. Made from zircon and hematite. Do you reckon the dwarves are aware of the things that they've made? I guess they must be, because sometimes they claim them as family heirlooms. Probably something menacing with spikes or a pigtail or something. Yeah, exactly. You get it. What is... Oh, the fishing boat! It's the Pelican, that was its name. I was like, this doesn't look like anything I've made. Or, like, cleaned. But it does. Ding. Someone telling the story about Ungo getting shot again? Yeah, afraid so. We discussed it briefly. How you doing, Bert? How goes things and stuff? Monday? Well. It is the way. It is the way of time to progress. There's a, there's a sectoid on my wall here. I'm sure it's very easy seeing this, but it's like right here. It's got eyes. It looks like the sectoid from, Actually, now that I've made an outline around it, it doesn't look anything like a sectoid. Turns out, don't just ignore me. Just pretend it's not there. Doesn't exist. I got XCOM on the brain. It's like, there's an overarching story. Yeah, there is a story to this game. It sounds wild that random PowerWash Simulator game will have a story, but there is a story, yeah. It's quite strange and wild, turns out. It's a wacky story. This is too loud. The snare is too loud. I must skip this entire album. I'm pretty sure this is the album that's really loud. Oh, maybe not. Try that one. I don't even know if it's a snare. I don't even know what... There's a noise that happens. I don't know if it's a snare, but it's something. I call every drum beat that's really loud a snare. I know that's not what it is. I don't know enough about drums to, like, correctly refer to it, though. I think it's a power washer. It is a power washer. There's no heat. No. It's not a power washer because there's no heat. It's a pressure washer. Power washers have heat. They refer to that, there's a joke about that early in the game, because people were talking about it in like reviews, how it's technically a pressure washer. I remember that being very funny. But you created such a big, like, market for it, right? Like, the idea was so, like, big, like, so many people were playing it, that you can't just, like, suddenly change it to a different name out of nowhere. It's all a lie, yeah. But they're SEO! They're SEO! They couldn't change it. Ding! Ding! Oh my goodness, amazing. Oh, I should probably clean off that, huh? I cleaned off one of them, didn't I? Yeah. What do you reckon this is gonna be? Oh, this is gonna be the merry-go-round, I can tell. Oh, nope, maybe not. It's not the merry-go-round. What is this? What is this? Oh, this is the house with the robbers, I think. And this is the tree house, and this is the boot. This is the shoe house. I think that's correct. I'm not positive about this one, but this one's definitely the tree house, and that one's definitely the boot. And those were, like, kind of batched together, so I think that that's probably what it was. Those are, like, in the same area. One after another. It's fun recounting the adventures I've done over the past few months playing this game. When you Google power washer, you just get localized German results, and German seems not to distinguish between power washer and pressure washer. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I guess, like, you know, it doesn't... The distinction isn't super necessary. I imagine if you fire water at high enough pressure, it doesn't matter if it's hot or not. Though, maybe a power wash enthusiast will have another opinion on that. It's hard to say. Feel free to make a statement for engagement. Get those numbers up for me. I'm on that 300 grind. Can you imagine me being on a grind to do anything? God. Whee! That's the temple that we threw eggs at one point. You've honestly never heard of any with hot water? Yeah, they come with like their own, like, they have like a little generator with them. Nice. Yeah. Is good. When I get into Beat Saber? Oh, grinding. I was like, what are you talking about? What? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Here, just for the sake of, like, my own ego, maybe? Maybe ego's not the right word. Let me type in power wash versus pressure wash. I'm just typing wrong because my hands are at a weird angle. The main difference between power washing and pressure washing is the heat. The jet in a power washing machine uses heated water, whereas the water in a pressure washer is not heated. There you go. Oh. There you go. Maybe it's an American thing. Yeah, getting back into Beat Saber is going to take some time. Once my knee is, like, good enough to do, which won't be too long now, I'm definitely going to get back into it soon. So I'm hankering for some Beat and Sabers. I'm going to have to, like, start off probably on, like, hard mode to get back into the swing. And then go on to expert from there. It's gonna take some time though. I might not be able to do it before stream either, because like I've been getting really tired before stream recently. So I feel like, oh, maybe that's why I've been getting tired, because I was so used to doing Beat Saber right before I started stream that maybe I just like developed a habit. Now that I'm not doing it, I'm getting tired. Dunno. I'll have to figure out when the best time to do it is. But it'll be probably around the same time, honestly. Hard to say. Yeah, I am for sure worried to see all those scores, though. Because I've been out of commission for a couple of weeks, which is a lot of time to absolutely demolish all of my scores. All of them. Yep. Okay. We'll see. I think there's a point where you're gonna like it's like a point in your Beat Sabering career where you need to have like lighthouses because of the tracking issues you have with like the inside-out tracking on the headsets that I have, or the headset I have. Because the every once in a while the controller will just disconnect when I'm in the middle of a swing, and it'll make me miss a note and that I'm like already like 100%ing or whatever. So I'll miss like a full combo because of like one disconnect randomly. And so I think that at some point, if you like professional, I say professional, like super high level Beat Saber players would have to use lighthouses to not have the disconnects happen. Because there's a lot of times I can't beat scores because partway through the song I have to move my hands so fast the tracking can't keep up. And it'll just like miss a note, a single note. But I remember you saying that you didn't really full combo things originally. You probably had done a lot more now, but when I was like, and when we were initially competing, I remember you telling me you didn't full combo things very often, but I always full comboed, but my scores were always lower, which is really annoying. Sure, it's the fault of the equipment. Well, not entirely, but it definitely exists. Like my headset stops tracking my hands if they just stop moving for a moment. Like if I don't have them constantly moving, it kind of stops tracking. I'll just float off into the distance. And every once in a while, I'll have like a bug where like my saber will just like drift off into the distance, then teleport back to my hand, and drift off into the distance, and teleport back again. And it'll just kind of like slowly speed up and go like off, back off, back off, back off, off, and just do this for like 5 minutes until I like turn it off and turn it back on. And I don't know. It's probably because I've broken them a couple of times by slamming them on my elbows and knees. I'm imagining it's related to that probably, but I'm not positive, because the tracking still seems to work most of the time. And I feel like if that were broken, then they'd probably stop working as well as they currently do. Because none of the hardware has been, like, none of the electronics have been broken, just the ring. You haven't beaten all of them. Technically, there's still 1 in 10 that still exist where I'm winning. Good. Still very few full combos. Oh god, really? Dang. I make such a huge effort to get those full combos. Using the same equipment, you think? Or similar models, anyway. Yours aren't broken, that's an advantage. I'm using an Oculus Rift S. I'm using the original Quest. The Quest is slightly better, I'm pretty sure. I think every iteration of the Oculus is better than the previous in every way. And the Quest allows you to disconnect your headsets from it allows you to disconnect the cord from your headset. Although I don't know if that's good for tracking. Not tracking, but timing. I guess you don't need to worry about timing after all, that's what you say. I don't know if that's true or not, but I have to believe you because I haven't really looked into it. Terrible for timing, yeah, because of the latency between like the Wi-Fi or whatever. You can adjust the timing if you want, but it's never consistent, so it's not really worth doing. The worst part about Bluetooth is that if you adjust the timing, the delay is never 100% the same. So adjusting it's pointless. Something I learned very quickly using my Bluetooth headset is adjusting for any rhythm game of any description, which I don't play very often anyway. Adjusting the microsecond delay on the audio transfer rate is like pointless because of how much it varies. Maybe stop using a boomerang as a saber. I mean, look. Sometimes you just whack the sabers on things. They literally have straps to prevent you throwing them. It's not that outlandish to think that maybe it's possible to slam them on your knees by accident. And actually, one of them I didn't slam on my knee, I slammed it on my hip. When I, like, was doing a really hard song, I dropped my arms down because I was exhausted and it slammed my hip and broke. But I've since superglued them back together and covered them in electric tape so that they're not, like, shiny. And they track fine. Like I said, just occasionally they'll lose tracking in the middle of, like, a really intense song when I'm moving my hands too quickly. Also, this room isn't particularly well lit, either. So, that's probably part of the reason the tracking's not great. There's nothing I can do about that. I can't, like, install another light. I could probably set up a lamp or something, but I feel like that wouldn't help. Like, not to the extent that it would, like, be worth doing, I guess. Dang, I can't believe I thought maybe I should continue doing this until it was done last time I streamed it. Holy crap. I did a 4-hour stream, and I was like, I could probably finish this up. And I'm 2 hours into it right now, and I'm still, like, not done. Would have been my first 8-hour stream. The tracking ring LEDs. There's no tracking ring LEDs. Your tracking rings have LEDs? These infrared ones inside the plastic? If they exist, I certainly didn't see them. You can see them if you use a camera. I don't have a camera. I was about to say, I could use some, I don't have a camera. I mean, I can look. I don't think that they're there. I mean, like, if they exist, then it would have been broken in half. I don't think there's... I mean, like, I don't... I'm pretty confident. Like... Alright, so look, I know they're not naked. I don't... Okay, look. The controller looks like this, right? Like, it looks like that, basically. It snapped, like, right there. And inside of it, it looks like this. Like, there's, like, a thing way back here. Like, if you're looking down it. Like, there. But, like, that's in this ring. That's, like, over here and over here. But it's snapped here. There's no wiring or lights or anything there. So I super glued it back together and taped here and here. And the thingies were, like, here and here. And then there's tape covering this section here. I'm not drawing with my right hand. I switched to my left hand specifically for that demonstration. Wink. You have no proof. Don't you? Me? I don't know. Like, I could look up where the controller's infrared lights are at or whatever, but if they exist, I didn't see them. Or they broke and fell out, which is unlikely, because I'm sure I would have found them on the ground. And I imagine they would have been connected with wiring, so it's probably unlikely they fell out to begin with. But there was no loose wiring, there was no loose lights, there was nothing like that. So wherever I taped up definitely didn't get blocked. Unless the lights are literally, like, microscopic. Because I didn't see them. I wasn't looking for them, but I did recognize that there was some stuff inside the ring. And it wasn't anywhere near where I was taping up. But I suppose I could smash them apart again real quick and check. First Reddit post is telling there's a lot of them, and you can see them if you use your camera on your phone. I don't have a phone camera. It doesn't work. I might be able to fish out my old phone from wherever it was. Actually, it might be my drawer. Well, the battery's dead, so... The phone I haven't used in years, battery is dead, so... Unfortunately, I can't use its camera. Might get better tracking if you look up where they are and make sure no tape is covering. Those are not the ones that I have. But I'm sure that there is. I'm sure there is ones that do have them, but that's not the handsets I have. Those ones go too far. Those ones are the Quest, I think. I have a Rift. My rings go over the top. They don't go back like that. But I guess I'll look into it. It doesn't seem likely, but like I said, I'm sure that there'd be some sort of electricity or like electronics inside I would have noticed. If I was blocking anything. This stuff's really hard to get off. I think it wants me to use this. I just don't like using it very much. Mainly because I just have to be a lot slower than I like. Just tough for me. Because of the sensitive controller. And I can I've already turned... Controller? Mouse. And I've already turned down my, sensitivity in game. But if I turn it down too much lower, it becomes, like, unplayable. For me. I didn't want to clean those anyway, you know? They said this was a statue of me. I've seen the time lapses. I'm pretty certain that's not me. Am I gonna be shot by an elf? I hope not. Looks like Ungo to you. Oh no. Wait, no, Ungo's the one that got shot, so it's fine. Ungo was the human that got shot by the elf. Turns out we're okay. I'm gonna have to go up higher and clean off the rest of it from up above, I think. I don't think I have a great angle on the helmet from here. Although I can get quite a lot of it still. Still bits that I've missed that I can easily just go in with and get. Probably not the most efficient way to clean the statue. If I had a ladder or something, I'd use that, but I only had that giant scaffold, which I don't think will fit in here. This isn't me. This is far too dirty to be me. I'm always clean. In my squeaky suit. Clean off those grippers. You sicken me. Oh, the statue, the trident didn't ding. At least I didn't hear it. I sound like cut out suddenly when that one happened. Is it that? I think it's that I'm still missing. Oh, no, never mind. Got it. Ding. Get up close and personal with myself. Hello. Me. That's my symbol. It's plagiarism, you know. I was literally about to ask how this got so dirty. And then I remembered it was submerged in the ocean for thousands of years. And decided that was not a question worth asking. But I wanted to say it regardless because I thought it was funny that I thought to ask such an obvious question. You're a bit blue. Well, I got some pink in there. Some salmon. I guess that's my robe, isn't it? Do I have that color of outfit? Not really. I have this color. It kind of works. Color your hands. Yellow. I got my yellow gloves on? I can't tell. Yeah. Okay, I'm wearing pink and yellow. There you go. It's not a great angle to clean that, so you have to like get up on the ledge. Get up close like this to clean it. That's hard to do because it's so close. If I clean like at an angle like that, it's fine. Clean on the corners, from the corners rather. Little like crevice back there. That's really inconvenient. I wonder how cruel they'll be about this statue, because that's really hard to get. It's a big podium. I thought this right here was the podium. I didn't think this whole thing was the podium. It's only a matter of time until you're spotless, my dear statue of me. Me and my glory. So very clean. At least to an extent, you know. It's not going to be the cleanest, of course. You're not going to eat any food off of it. We're not disinfecting this thing. We're just kind of spritzing it. Getting all the schmutz off, you know. There's also little bits and bobs of dirt that I keep missing. I can't tell when it's still wet, though, so I have to go back and clean it up when it's not, like, glistening anymore. Like, right there, that looks pretty dirty, but I bet that's just, like, water or just the texture of the... Well, it is dirty, but not where I thought it was. Maybe it was just the texture of the rock or something. Oh, speaking of texture of rock, this is again a tangent. It doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to complain about something very briefly. And I'm going to keep it brief because I know people don't really have any interest in it, so I'm going to be very quick about this. In the game, Star Citizen, which I quite like and talk about pretty regularly, but nobody else knows about because it's a it's a difficult game to get into. There's a ship called the Constellation Phoenix, which is a luxury variant of the Constellation ship. And in that, there's a bar. There's a bar in the luxury section that you can go up to. And the entire bar is made of marble. But the floor of that area is made of like this sort of really nice gray wood. And it's very pretty. It's a very pretty space. But at the base of the bar, for whatever reason, at the base of this bar, right here, there's this really pretty wood that goes like this, and it has like angular slats, so it goes like that and that, like, you know, that kind of like interspaced angular slats. At the bottom of this bar, there's like this pink granite that goes like this. And it looks awful. It's disgusting. It looks so bad. And it's the worst, because that ship was beautiful. But there's like this one bit right at that spot, like at the very like edge of the bar, that was like obviously like an artistic decision, but it just looks terrible. Like it doesn't at all. That material isn't used anywhere else in the entire like game. Like that ship is the only place you can find that awful pink granite, and it doesn't fit the aesthetic at all, which is all like grays and whites. Like, it's crazy how bad that thing looks. Anyway, that's all. That's all I'm complaining about. I'm sure you can find a million people online complaining about it if you want to see what it looks like. Constellation Phoenix, Star Citizen, bar. But it's just a wild decision. I'm going to stop complaining about that now, because I know people don't really have any interest in Star Citizen. But just know, it's endlessly frustrating, because that ship is beautiful and I really like it. Except that. It's so dirty, but like I can't even see the dirt. Made of stone. Maybe I'll use some soap, you know? Maybe some soap would be, some stone soap. Just to like clean up the bits I can't see. There you go. You have no idea what I'm ranting about. You're angry now, too. Good. To be fair, you don't have interest in most of the things I complain about. No! What's the point, then? How can I complain about something if nobody's interested in what it is? How can people relate to my complaints? No murder. Yes. They've been stalking me the entire time I've been playing. They can't be suffered the will to live? That's not quite the way that I meant to say that, but you know what? Sure. Or I've been stalking them. I mean, they're always where I am. But I guess by that logic, I'm always where they are as well. Well, this is my temple, after all. Look, all these pictures of me everywhere. They're not supposed to... Well, I guess they're here too, aren't they? Oh, I didn't even notice this was the bathroom. I forgot about the party bathroom. Remember the party bathroom? That's the train station. Party bathroom was a good one. It had a lot of good art. I liked it a lot. It was very silly. A very fun idea for a level. Sorry, I'm checking something. Give me just a moment. Okay. Sorry. I was I was trying to I was looking up an image of the constellation Phoenix to make sure it made me as angry as I remember. It does. Okay. It's still, like, I mean, like, considering I'm almost done, I'm waiting for that plane that was supposedly flying towards me to come by. I don't know how quickly they expected me to finish up the rest of this job, but it's been like half an hour since they told me that that plane was flying right at me from the volcano. And I know how fast that plane supposedly can fly. So clearly it wasn't flying towards me at all. They lied. Or I just missed it when I went inside or something. Or maybe it flew at me right when I was receiving that message and I didn't notice it. Either way. As of right now, there is no plane. Maybe one day there'll be a plane. Ah. Actually, I wonder which plane it is. I did have 2 planes. I did clean up 2 planes. I cleaned up like a biplane and I cleaned up like a... Well, it wasn't a biplane, was it? It was just a propeller plane. And a jet. Nearly done. With this part, I guess, specifically. It is kind of like a nice detail. It's like very clearly like painted on, right? With these like little bits that look like they've been chipped away a bit. And that's kind of nice, but nowhere else is that like emulated anywhere. Just there, like there's the only chipping on this entire thing. This entire temple. Everywhere else is like pristine. You finally bothered to look up the bar image. It's very subtle. It's not subtle. It's super bad. I don't like. Did you like? Okay, so they're tricking you with this image because that's not what it looks like when you're playing it. That's like with ray tracing on, not near the sun, with all the lights turned off. That is like peak appearance of that bar. You give me a second right here. I'm gonna sidetrack all of stream for this. I'm gonna get you the real image. I'm gonna load up Star Citizen, fly over to Hurston, land at the New Deal, get inside the Phoenix, and show you that. I'm not gonna do that. That sounds like a lot of work, but I will find a better image. Angry Grim activated. I gotta turn off my music just in case it plays a video real quick, because I'm about to do something. I'm about to look up a video, because I specifically know somebody who has a good image of it. Just slightly put... You'll never see me angry, truly. Okay, where is it? Where is it? Right here. There's the bar. Oh, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's awful. Look at that. Ugh. Oh, God. It's terrible. Oh, it's so awful. Jeez. How could they? It's such a nice ship. But this is awful. Is this gonna work if I just copy and paste that in? No, of course it's not. I have to save it. Actually, give me a sec before I do that. Give me a second while I increase the quality of this video so I can get a better screenshot than I currently have. It's set down to 720 and I want it at 14. I want it as crisp and clear as I could possibly get it. From somebody else's video. I can't... It's fine, don't worry. Share a link. I'm not sharing a link to the video. Actually, I can. It's a very good video. I very much like this guy's videos. Capture JPEG. It's gonna be... Constellation... Bar. There you go. Okay, where's my image? Where's my image file? Browse. That's it. Just time to no. Oops. Whoops. Alright, just give me a second. It's a very large image, I've realized now. Holy crap, that's enormous. Why is that so big? Where is it? You know, it might be easier if I just, didn't do this. Where the hell? Why is this so big? Stop that! It's like 5 times the size of my screen somehow. Why do I keep grabbing the wrong freaking thing? It's like enormous. Why is it so big? I didn't save the image that size. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll lose my mind if it doesn't stop grabbing that image. I want this. I scream. Give me that. Give it to me. I hate OBS. I hate it. Feels like an awful lot of effort for something. Why is it saved as a JPEG? Maybe that's why it's so big. Freaking ridiculous in here. Where is it? It's like, it's on my screen, but it's like, it's in the middle of nowhere. Why won't it let me grab it? Come on. Stop being a jerk. Please. It's not even that big. It's a very small file. You know what? Hold on. Oh, I see how it is. I see how it is. This doesn't work for you? I'm not allowed to use this? I'm not allowed to use this? This doesn't count as a game? I'm not allowed to stream this? It's ridiculous. I can't believe this. Can you believe this? I can't believe this. What an enormous amount of time I'm spending doing this. Okay, go back to PowerWash. give me the image. I need validation. It's so bad. Look at it. Why? What have they done? It's awful! What is this? It looks so bad! The rest of this thing looks amazing, but this weird granite nonsense? Who thought this was a good idea? Like, what a nice place, what a beautiful image, and then this... gross. What the hell? Freaking ridiculous. Subtle. Come on, get out of here. Freaking subtle. Can't believe you. Conics. Opposite of subtle. Whatever that is. Anyway, we're back. It's time to clean. I think that was the right video. Make sure I clicked on the correct video. Yeah, it is. Okay. Just send a random, like, music video by accident or something. Yeah, correct. Yeah. Anyway, that guy does some good reviews of ships. It's pretty fun. I enjoy watching them. Gives a good example of, like nice design, stuff like that for sort of things. But that's such a devastating, like, decision. That weird pink stone. Ugh, hate it. Oh yeah, I forgot I didn't even have the music on for you. The whole time I was listening to music and being grumpy, and you couldn't hear it. This is how I turned it off so the video wouldn't play, and then I just forgot to turn it back on. I turned it back on to start, of course, but... You only hear me suffering in the waves. That's good. That's good content for the YouTube VOD. I can't even see the dirt. Kind of see that one. It was delight. Well, good. I'm glad. But somebody enjoyed my suffering. Complaining about the constellation Phoenix. Grumble, 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 yeah. I was, like, about to launch Star Citizen, but I realized that it had an update recently, so it would have taken, like, half an hour. I decided against it. Anyway, I'm glad the temple's coming together. Sure does look nice, doesn't it? All shiny and blue and yellow. Maybe shiny's not the word. It's like a beach, a deck, and waves, and it doesn't only use the pink in that one spot. It's also part of the bar shelving. Look, I understand what you're saying, but that ship is like bright white everywhere, and that is only in that one spot. It absolutely doesn't make any sense. It looks terrible. If they made it like uniform pattern, I'd be like more okay with it, but that flooring looks so discordant. Like, it feels like they just, like, I don't know what was wrong with, like, just making it wood or making it like a gray or white marble. Like, if it wasn't pink and also ugly, I wouldn't mind it. Like, if it was one or the other, like, it was fine, but both, Pink's not, it's what I'm saying, it's gross, it's bad. It's super out of place. Like, I can appreciate, like, artistic taste, but, like, I feel like just something went wrong with that. And I just feel like they stuck to their guns for some reason instead of changing it when people, like, gave it a hard time. Because it's, a lot of people hate it. Like, it's not just, like, me, like, randomly, like, dunking on some random person's ship design, but, like, a lot of people do not like that. The bar is very cool, though. I like the bar a lot. You can't use it, but it looks nice. Try to make a tiki bar vibe. Yeah, they use that bar in the, when they do their, like, talk show during, like, they have, like, a talk show called Bar Citizen that they do, like, every year or every month? I can't remember. But, they use that background. They use the bar as the background. It's very fun. But yeah, I know I get what they were going for, like kind of, but I still think it looks bad. I think the bar is great. Like the design of it is good. I just don't like that flooring, and I feel like it's a weird choice to use pink marble on it. Or granite, I don't know. Whatever it is, pink something. Anyway, if you have any interest in looking at Star Citizen ships, but not playing the game, which is something I do recommend, because the game is frustrating and the ships are beautiful, Morphologists on YouTube has good architect reviews series. I wouldn't recommend watching his other stuff, because a lot of his other stuff is just him talking about Star Citizen, whereas that's just him doing ship reviews, but the ship reviews are nice. I'd recommend those. Nope. Alright, well, that's fine. Star Citizen ship? Yeah, Star Citizen ship. I mean, it's the same thing, basically, but yeah. The game is rough. I wouldn't recommend it until it's, like, more complete, but the ships are really nice. Service gives citizenship. You doing your part. Would you like to know more? It's a good reference. I like Starship Troopers a lot. I only saw it for the first time pretty recently. I like it a lot. It's very funny. I saw it because of Helldivers, if you can imagine. I've always heard it was like a really bad movie that people like really like, so I was like, I don't know, I don't really like those kind of movies, because I thought it was going to be like akin to The Room, which is like a bad movie that people like making fun of. And I hate that kind of movie. But Starship Troopers is legitimately like quite a good film, but very silly. First one's good. I didn't even know there was other ones. Yeah, it's once you've like played, like, because I played, like I said, I played Helldivers before I played Starship Trooper, or before I watched Starship Troopers, and like it's so funny how similar it is. Not many movies are bad like The Room. I absolutely despise The Room though, and like there are a lot of movies that are kind of like that. It's like that Cat That Can Talk, there's like Birdemic, there's like Sharknado or whatever, like movies that are like legitimately bad that people really like watching because they're so stupid. I just can't stand it. I hate The Room. Like I've watched like 30 minutes of it and I was like, I can't watch any more of this. It was just awful. It was too much for me. I get that people can like bad movies and like making fun of bad movies, but there's a point where I just can't. I can't be bothered to waste my time, and that's one of them, I'm afraid. I would rather be doing pretty much anything else than watching a very bad movie. Bad sci-fi is fun. I mean, it can be, for sure. It depends on, like, the movie, I guess, and, like, the presentation of it and stuff like that. I can't think of any movies that I would consider, like, fun, bad, like, as far as, like, sci-fi goes, that people talk about. I guess Starship Troopers could, like, fit that category, but I think it's actually pretty well made for how, like, how it is. I don't think it's a bad movie, as much as it just probably wasn't well received on, like, on the initial, like, delivery of it. Terrible special effects are good. Oh, I do think that's kind of fun sometimes. Like, I do like the old Godzilla movies. I haven't seen them in a long time, but I remember really liking them. But I think that might be more because I had a lot of fun hanging out in a coffee shop with my friends, watching old monster movies, because they would always play old monster movies. So maybe I like it because of that. CG in Starship Troopers is quite good for the time. It is, yeah. I think it's because, like, a lot of it was, like, the head of the arachnids was apparently practical, and then the CG was the bodies, and, like, you don't really notice the bodies that much. I think that was why it was so good. It's because they distracted you from the CG by using a really good practical effect. In French, you have a word for those movies, nanar. But they have to be legit movies that are so bad they're good. Yeah, I mean, like, that's what I mean, though, is, like, I find it difficult to distinguish when a movie is so bad that it's good, because I just consider it bad. And, like, I do have friends, I have had friends in the past who really enjoyed, like, having movie nights where they watch bad movies and make fun of them, and I'm like, I've tried to participate, but I just can't stand it. I just kind of find it, like, boring and annoying that I have to sit there and pretend to have fun watching a movie I'm really not enjoying, I guess. It's a taste thing. Yeah, I guess you're right. Because I do feel bad about it. Like, it feels like something I want to enjoy. I just can't. Like, I like hanging out with people, but I need to be doing something that I enjoy while hanging out. I can't just be sitting there chatting or whatever. Like, we also used to have, like, board game night, and I used to love doing board game night. That was a lot of fun. Freaking loved that. We used to have get-togethers to watch Game of Thrones in the dorm with all the other people. Got the student. When Game of Thrones was, like, big and popular, all the students would get together and watch it together every, like, Saturday or whatever. So that was cool. In uni, you did some bad movie nights, but after one session it became tedious. Yeah. Board game nights or TTRPG nights are the best. Yeah, TTRPG are harder because that takes a lot of commitment. And, like, you can't always, like, dedicate it, but, board games usually can be finished up in a night. And they're, like, good fun. I wish I played more, like, unique board games, but never really had the opportunity. There's lots of really fun, unique board games that I just never had a chance to play. I remember one of my favorite board games was the Game of Thrones board game, but there's a lot of those, and I don't know which one it was, but I used to play that with a couple of my friends. And, I don't know why I keep saying it. I can't say their names, obviously. But saying a couple of my friends is like, they're different friend groups, and every time I say a couple of my friends, I'm referring to a different friend group every single time. And, like, I don't even know them, I haven't talked to them in years, but, like, I'm referring to, like, 50 different people when I refer to different friend groups. So, when I was like, in a dorm, like, I had tons and tons of friends, so it's hard to, like, hang out with them individually. We just have, like, group play sessions of, like, different board games, depending on the nights, or some people I'd work out with, some people I'd go watch movies with. Stuff like that. Unless it's a competitive game and you have that one extremely competitive friend. Yeah, I mean, that can be fun in its own way, if you're, like, all kind of leaning into it. But if you get one, if you got, like, a chill group and competitive people, it's not very fun. I'm, like, surprisingly competitive. I don't like to be, but it comes out when I want it not to, I guess. If I'm like playing a game, like a shooter or something, like a PvP shooter, I get competitive even though I don't like to. And so I try to avoid those kinds of games because they make me grumpy. But with board games, it never really was that competitive for me. It's mostly just chill, fun. I used to like playing Magic the Gathering with another friend group all the time. That was a lot of fun. I used to get together with a couple of my other friends, and we used to have like drawing sessions where we would just like chill out at a table in the rec room and draw for like hours on end. Yeah, on like our tablets and stuff. And that was a lot of good. That was a good time. Don't remember much about the Twilight Imperium games, except the game owner throwing a tantrum and storming out. Twilight Imperium's one of those games that's like very long, though, isn't it? That's a game you have to like put a lot of dedication into. I've heard of Twilight Imperium, but I've never played it. But yeah, it's always a sucky one when you have that sort of person that like gets really upset when you're like having fun with a group. It's not to say that doesn't happen to me occasionally, but I do try to disguise it so it doesn't come off as like, I don't want to ruin everybody else's fun if I'm having a bad time, so I'll be like, I don't really feel like playing or something like that. Or I'll go like, I'll be like, man. Or I'll like intentionally throw, but try to make it seem like I didn't. That way I can like go do something else or just watch. I'd much prefer to like watch if I'm having a bad time. Because like there's like a limit to like the amount of like God, what's the word? Like social acceptance? No, that's not the word. That's a different word that means like something bad. I don't want that. But there's like a socially acceptable amount of like grump you can put forth when playing a game before it becomes not fun for anybody. And so I try to like skirt that line a lot, but mostly because I do enjoy complaining, but I know that complaining can often come off as like having a bad time. And so when I'm playing with people who don't like complaining, or like when somebody's like really enjoying a game that I'm not having a good time with, I will intentionally not complain about the game because I know that they really enjoy it and I don't like it. But that also means that they want me to play with them more, and I don't want to play more. It's really rough. It's a rough situation. It's a rough one. A fond memory he was losing. Fond sarcastic or fond for legit? Everyone got super grumpy playing because the game was like 6 to 8 hours concentration slog. Yeah, that's exactly it. Like I can't do Twilight Imperium because of that. I've heard a lot of positive things about it, but I wouldn't be able to dedicate that much time and effort to a game that I might lose, you know? You won't ever play it again because of how many fights it started? That makes sense. Actual fondness? Alright, cool. But it wasn't fun at the time. Yeah, okay. I get you. You don't have a good time in-game? You just pretend to play and give some wins to people so they have more fun? Yeah, that's what I try to do. If I'm like not enjoying myself in like a versus game, I'll intentionally throw the game and like lose, but I'll try to make it not obvious. But like there will be a time where I'll just have to admit that I didn't really enjoy it very much, and that always feels kind of bad because I just don't want to dedicate a bunch of my time to not enjoying myself. But I'll go with it for a bit, usually. Because I do want to, like, hang out, you know, when I get the chance. So I don't want them to, like, not invite me to hang out. I just need to be clear that the thing that they want to do, I don't really want to do, so we have to find something else. Which is usually fine, but sometimes it can be taken wrong. Because, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of, like, a good game example. But there's, like, a game a friend of mine really, really liked that I just, like, played a ton of and burnt myself out on in the past, like years ago. And they're like, oh, I really want to play this. And I'm like, oh, that's a good game. You should play it. I'm like, do you want to play with me? And I'm like, no. I mean, I could, but I'm not going to like it very much, I don't think. And they're like, oh, no, try it. And I'm like, all right. And I played it with them, and I didn't like it. Who could have guessed? But, you know. You tell people you don't want to play that game again afterward, but you'll watch? Ah, yeah, okay. Yeah, I always worried about ruining people's fun when I do that sort of thing, though. Because, like, I really do want my friends to have fun. I don't want to not be a part of it. I just don't want to play certain games because they're kind of frustrating to me. Or tedious or boring, that kind of thing. It's a rough one, for sure. Atrium floor. So this is still dirty somehow. We're at 99%, and we haven't gotten the 3 thing. Like, there's like a thing that like shows us that there's like only 3 things left to clean. Inner ceiling. Yeah, it's a rough one. But I always do my best to make sure they're having fun. It's like when you teach somebody how to, like, not when you teach. When you're like, I had a friend who taught me, how to play Magic, but they never let me win. It was like they had like an ego on, like they didn't, like they're like, okay, I'll teach you how to play, but I'm not gonna go easy on you. And I'm like, you're not really teaching me how to play very well if you're not gonna let me win at least once or twice so I know what to do or how to win. So like they taught me how to play the game, but like they would never let me win, and they would always pull, like I didn't realize at the time how incredibly cheap some of their combos were. They would like pull out this infinite combo of like, you know, I tap this to make this untap, to tap this to make this untap, to play these 3 creatures, and then I tap this to draw this kind of thing. They would set that sort of thing up every time we played, and I would never get the chance to beat them. And then I didn't realize how incredibly frustrating it was to play against them until I bought my own cards, made my own deck, and then played against other people who played Magic for fun and not to win. And then I was like, oh, people who played this game and enjoy it are actually fun to play against. Wow. You know, because like I really did enjoy the concept of Magic, but I couldn't get into it because like I had a friend who just wouldn't ever let me win because he had just this broken deck that he kept using over and over again. And I realized that I had a similar problem where I built a deck to like, because like through this like misguided idea of how the game worked, I built this really aggressive deck that was like designed to stop people from beating me. And then realized quickly that it wasn't a very fun deck to play against, so I took out like 3 of the cards that made me like impossible to kill. Arel, you like something super simple, like a huge jigsaw puzzle, no strategy brain needed, but something to still focus on? That's cool. Because half the time you won't have actual thinking ability when in presence of people. Ah, yeah, it makes sense. Like something very simple to do in the, like, when you're around other people makes perfect sense. If I'm like actually like hanging out with people and we're like, you know, chatting or whatever, it's fine. Like turn on the TV or watch anime or like watch a movie or something, that's fine. But if I'm like, it depends on the friend group, I guess. I can't figure out how to clean this. Where's it dirty at? Am I gonna have to do the thing where I put on the soap and just like spritz it around until it gets it? There's some there. How did I miss that? But yeah, no, I do like to just hang out, but I do like, I do need something to occupy myself. So like a Scrabble or something, usually. I don't really like jigsaw puzzles are fine, but I don't love it because I get kind of frustrated finding pieces. I get kind of frustrated with the core points and design of the game, of assembling a jigsaw puzzle. There's like, I'm missing some parts somewhere, and I can't see it. Does require good eyesight. Yeah, stuff like that. Like I can't see very well, so like finding the exact pieces I need is also kind of it's like difficult. Ah, thank you. I'm not like colorblind or anything, but I do find it difficult. You're like looking for, you know, sky piece number 35. And all you have is sky pieces 1 through 15. And sky piece 35 is upside down underneath of ground piece 15. And you're like, oh man, well, that's a shame. Or identical tree number 475. So jigsaws, I don't mind jigsaws, but they're kind of rough for me to play. I'm not like they're not my favorite thing to look at. Too much searching, not enough putting together. It does require good eyesight. Yeah, boo. Boo? Boo. I thought that boo was in response to me talking about jigsaw puzzles. No, you boo as in, like, frighten me. Oh! How you doing, Simpin? How goes things? Too much searching, not enough putting. Yeah, exactly. You can quote me on that. That's a normal one. I have some normal quotes sometimes. I also got the, that's a lot of talking, not a lot of sense making. That's another famous quote of mine. I've also got, like, something about, like, I got some, like, bad ones that are taken out of context as well, but I can't remember any of them. So luckily we just forget they exist. Got that 1.8 million auto shop. Nice. Nice. Atrium alcove ceiling, atrium floor, atrium mural frame. No, atrium pilastars. What the hell's a pilastar? Sneaky. You're the star. Oh, you flatterer. No, you. I don't know what it is, though. Welcome back, Zifo. How goes? What is a pilastar? What the heck is that? Is it those things? It's a parapet. Podium. Centerpiece? You're sim for a reason. I'm going up here to go into the doorway to look around up here. Oh, whoop. Gallery floor and central opening floor both need to be cleaned too. Who would have thought? I remember these ones being like kind of hard because they were like right here, right? It's like there's like bits there that are like stuck. It's one of the things I was like having a hard time finding when I was like doing it the first time round. And I was like scooching them all, cleaning them all up. Is when I would go over them like this, I would miss like their interior bits like there. I'm guessing that's where the dirt is, unless it's just like all over the face somewhere. I feel like I just do the big old spritz. I'm sure that'll get whatever I've missed. See? The galley floor is also gallery floor. Also doity. It's mostly dirty around the corners, which I guess I should have expected. That's always where it tends to be dirty. Okay, that's good. Gallery mural. I need atrium mural, right? It's a column integrated into the wall. Oh. Ah. Ah, yeah, that's dirty, all right. Pyramidion scrolls and gem. Or an ornately bent wall. The gem's up there, I guess. Where's the scroll? I think it's at the back. I think the scroll's at the back. This is this. This? Ah, it is that. Where's you still dirty at? Oh, maybe that. Scrolls are in your head. I want to get him out. There you go. And the gem, I guess, is up here, right? No? Where's the gem? Oh, I bet it's on the freaking statue with the big old stick. Say please. No. I don't say please in my own chat. Are you crazy? It's not that, apparently. It is Pyramidion, so it is up there. But where's the gem? There's no gem here. Did I knock it off? Where's the gem? Where's the gem? No, whatever. I knew it was the top of the pyramid. That's why I was up there originally, but I couldn't find it, so... I came back down to look around, and I still couldn't find it, so I have no idea. Back in the ceiling? No, I cleaned it up pretty well. Yeah, it's just ceiling centerpiece. Tried. Yeah, that's right. Just gonna clean up the floor, and then I'll go look around out there with my last ding. It'll be nice to finish it off while I'm outside, so... Sure, it'll be nice. I don't know where I missed. I missed a lot, so I'm just like spritzing the soap because I have no idea where. It's all like... It's because I used the sprayer, this one, instead of just going through with the really strong, high-powered one that was like designed for this place, apparently. So I missed a lot of the little bits and bobs around the place. It is weird. That's what I was thinking. Like, I don't know. I can't imagine where it would be. So I'm gonna go out there and look around a bit harder on every little nook and cranny of the pyramid after I get this floor cleaned up, and we'll see what happens, I guess. See if I can't find it. Maybe it's a maybe it's a supposed to lose sort of mission, where you would never finish cleaning because the last object doesn't exist. Stuck here cleaning for eternity. Yep. You know, at least there's a lot to clean. Gives a little bit of variety. Maybe tomorrow I'll clean the octopus statue. Day after that, I'll come back in and give the dusting to my countenance. God, where is the dirt? Like, it's just kind of smattered everywhere. What if I go like big spritz and just walk around? I'm sure eventually it'll let me clean. Nah, it's just this floor. This is the atrium, that's the gallery. It's almost always, like, the corners, like, that I miss, like, right around here and stuff, you know? Maybe I'll just, like, equip a better nozzle and go for the corners. But it's hard to say. I'm pressing tab every once in a while to like highlight dirt, but it's very rarely coming up. This is one of those points where I'm like, I kind of wish that it would just ding me. It's like, it's done. There's nothing else left to clean. There's just a little bit here and there that I just apparently missed, like along the edges, that are practically invisible. Oh. Okay. I see. The music decided to cue. Gem, yeah. So I think I know what happened. Is the glittering object that they found was the gem to the top of this thing, turns out. So it was story-based, and I needed to do everything except this. Well, that's okay. You know, that's fine. How am I gonna get to the top of it, though? I'll get in there. You can't stop me forever. Oh, wait, I know. Can you go, like, down there? Maybe not. Maybe I don't know. I really thought this was gonna be it. I was like, for sure this is the way. Maybe the backside? There's no way that's big enough. Nah. Crap. Alright, what am I doing with this then? Is there a ladder? Do I have a ladder that I've never, like, seen? There's no towers. Yeah, right. Is there, Does somebody have a ladder over here? Can I get the ladder off my truck? My van? Perhaps the helicopter? Yeah, I can't access it, though. Okay, there's no ladder, so clearly I need to jump up there somehow. Oh. Wait, hold on. Maybe I could ramp. Nope. Piece of trash, freaking gemstone nonsense. What the hell are you doing? Get out of here. Give me... How are you supposed to do this? Turn yourself upside down. Where's the gnome? Gnome, please, come back to me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I need to stand on your head. Well... Too bad I murdered the gnome. Yeah. Spot there somewhere, I saw it. Where was it? Come on now. Do I have to do it so fast that it like glitches out and doesn't realize it's not supposed to be placed there? Probably not. That seems a bit disorienting. It was around here. I saw it. I saw it for a split second. Where the hell? There's like a pixel somewhere I can put this. Put it like that. Oh, there you go. That's easier. I can't even get on it. Gnome, please. I think I threw it over there too. I'm not even looking at the right spot. Where did I murder that gnome at? Does anybody remember where I murdered that gnome? Okay, you come here. Wait, is that it? Is that it? That's it! Got it! Now you will assist me. Please. The game won't let me drop it there. It won't let me drop it there, man. This is my only plan. This is my only idea. You were useless after all. I knew it all along. What am I supposed? It's the same problem. At least now I have the gem, but I still can't clean it. Oh wait, hold on. It is just okay. Well, you know what? Oh hey. You just killed the mayor. Well, all's well that ends well. Time lapse is just nothing for so long because I'm cleaning the interior. PowerWash Services, you did it. After you cleaned our ship, we went further back in time, methodically tracing your steps one job at a time right back to the backyard cleaning days. While doing so, we pieced together Blake Thrust's ambitions. Thrust was obsessed with the lost city of pacifists, and after discovering that their tech was powered by a rare ore, set up illegal mines here, there, and everywhere. He struck a rich seam inside Mount Rushless, and used it to develop his own tech, while also hoping to create enough tectonic movement to push the lost city up to the surface. What he didn't realize, though, is that by destabilizing the volcano, he nearly caused a global apocalypse. Knowing that the underwater city lay dormant until this moment, we went back in time and told the pacifists of your legend. They agreed to convert their palace into an offshore platform to send a neutralizing beam to Mount Rushless when the city resurfaced. We dirtied the place up to ensure it would only activate once completely cleaned by a skilled power washer. Thanks to you, the timeline is now restored and we can return to our time as heroes. Heroes with red velvet cake. P.S. Please feel free to use this message as customer review if you think it would help your business. Well, all right. There's your story. I guess I'll let this play because I don't know if it's copyright or not, but it's the outro. I'm gonna pretend that it's copyright and just kind of talk over it the whole time. Maybe it's not, never mind. Ulysses! Aww. Ulysses has kitties. amazing looking. The best time lapse is that last one. It was good. It was a good game. It was a lot of fun. Silly game? It is very silly. It's a very silly concept. It's weird that it went so serious. Like, you're literally preventing the apocalypse by cleaning. It's so silly. It's been a while since the topic of good games to play, but there's an expertly done roguelike Pokemon game, fan game, PokeRogue, browser game that is completely free and not monetized anyway, and is honestly, in your opinion, best Pokemon game in the last few years. But it depends if you want to play that kind of game. All the games to play already. Yeah. I don't know, that one's a bit rough. Hard to say. Probably not. Nintendo properties are a bit dicey. They've been known to go ham and just strike people's channels out of nowhere for no reason. So, since Pokemon's a Nintendo IP, I think it's a dangerous game to be doing anything Pokemon related. Despite I know a lot of people get it. A lot of people can do it fine, and they haven't gotten in trouble. But Nintendo has previously been a bit willy-nilly with their own rules. And I don't think I'm willing to try it. Unfortunately. I might play it off-stream, but I'm not going to play it on-stream. There's still a lot more to clean. I probably won't be doing those, though. I had a fun time. That was a good time. I know these are all separate jobs, too. Maybe there is more jobs. Maybe I will play this again in the future. I don't know. But I beat it, so I can go on to a different game and maybe come back to this for palette cleansing and stuff. Instead of, like, making it a pretty regular weekly thing. I haven't struck it yet, at least. Yeah, I know, but I don't want to, risk the channel or whatever I've created here at the whims of Nintendo, who have been known to get a bit grumpy out of nowhere, if that makes sense. Another power wash another time, yeah. But yeah, there's lots to do left still, so I probably will come back to this at some point in the future. But it's a lot of fun, and I've done a lot. I've done a lot of power washing. It'll give me something new to do. It's a fun time. I love this game. This game is great. It's very silly, like you say, but it's very, like, on brand for me, I guess, because I love cleaning games, you know? Like, I don't know how to express that in a way that makes any amount of sense. Just listen to that dinging noise as the cash register. But like what's a good one? Like, oh, I spent all my money getting those gloves. I didn't realize they were so expensive. Ooh, lava gloves. But yeah, yay! Thank you. Yeah, like, Viscera Cleanup Detail is one of my favorite games to play. I love that game a lot. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. I feel like it probably doesn't need a rating out of 10. It's just a game that you might like or might not like. I loved it. I thought it was proper. I mean, I guess every now and again I got kind of frustrated with the dirt getting deleted too early or not completing the job early enough. Like that last bit where I was cleaning that floor and I couldn't find any dirt anywhere. Like, that was a little bit annoying, but mostly I didn't have any problems. So I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I liked it a lot. It was a great time. I might come back to it on palette cleanser days. Who knows? Maybe. Yeah. But I think I'm probably going to call it quits for the night. But yeah, I may play that game on my own time, because that does sound kind of interesting. But I probably won't play it on stream, unfortunately. Not that that really is beneficial to you in any way. Knowing that I might play it off stream probably isn't exactly what you were looking for, but I appreciate the suggestion regardless. But when it comes to Nintendo properties, I just don't think it's a good idea to play them. But I will be back tomorrow with Oblivion. I'm beginning Oblivion playthrough tomorrow. So that's something to look forward to if you want to see that sort of thing. I'm a bit nervous about it because I don't remember much. Like I said, I played it for maybe an hour in the past, like maybe a little bit longer than that, like a long time ago. So I'm aware of the start of it, but I have no idea anything about the end of it or or anywhere past that point. I'm aware of the beginning, but that's it. Will I read every book in Oblivion? I'll read every book I come across. And everyone lived happily ever after, except the mayor. He definitely died. He did definitely die. Or maybe it wasn't the mayor. Maybe it was what's his name? Johnny Swift or whatever. Johnny Turbo, whatever his name was. Kill everything easy. Well, yeah. Don't have to remember anything. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I just figured yeah, I'll be playing that tomorrow. Then Tuesday will be XCOM again. Then Wednesday, Dwarf Fortress. Thursday, Oblivion. Friday, XCOM. Saturday, Planet Zoo. Sunday, maybe another Crab's Treasure again to finish up that game. Or maybe American Truck Simulator because it's been a while. But the schedule will depict what I intend to be doing on days. Have a good rest of your day, night, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.